will receive. Good luck, gentlemen.
Hello and welcome to College Park, Maryland, where the Michigan Wolverines come in looking for their 10th win of the season. A cloudy, overcast day today. Temperatures in the mid-40s. On the call today, we have Adam Bressler. I'm Amer Bektas. Adam, what do we got going on today? What are the keys for Michigan to win?
Well, before I get into the keys, the stakes could not be more clear. Michigan needs to win in order to stay in CFP contention and Big Ten contention as well. Assuming Michigan could hold off the Terrapins this afternoon, they'll go back home to the Big House next Saturday and face off against the Ohio State Buckeyes in what is essentially the Big Ten East Championship game. The Buckeyes took care of business in the Horseshoe this afternoon against Michigan State. As many Michigan fans were probably watching that with glee. First time in a while they could root for the Buckeyes, but it'll come down to next Saturday, assuming Michigan could take care of the Maryland Terrapins.
Yeah, the Wolverines, if they're able to take care of business today, next weekend will be the biggest game in quite some time at the Big House. But the Wolverines do have their hands full today with the Maryland Terrapins. I mean, you can look at their quarterback position right there. You have Tua's brother and Talia Tungavailoa for the Maryland Terrapins. But we're just moments away from the kickoff of this one. Your Michigan Wolverines are wearing their white jerseys with blue bottoms. If it sounds familiar, you saw it in Wisconsin earlier this year. On the other side, the Maryland Terrapins are wearing their traditional red jerseys, white bottoms. We're just moments away, so Michigan will be sending their offense out first back there. A.J. Henning standing at his own goal line. The kick is up, and A.J. Henning is he's gonna bring it out. He receives it at the 5, gets out to the 20. He's going to be taken down inside his own 20 right there. And Cade McNamara and the offense will head out there for the first possession of this game. So, Adam, we saw what Cade's done over the past few games. He got a little bit banged up against earlier on there, but it feels like he's turning around.
Yeah, so the promise of Cade was at the end of the game last week in Happy Valley. Struggled early, but when Michigan needed a touchdown, he found a way to get them, keep moving the chains and find it in the end zone. And we'll see if he could match that from the beginning this afternoon.
Wolverines will start from their own 19. First play is a handoff to Haskins. Haskins goes up the middle, and he gets about a yard on that one. He's going to make it out to the 21. So Hassan Haskins coming off some career performances the past few games. And, really taking that load on with Blake Corum being banged up last weekend. Corum was out there warming up. We do expect to see Corum get some snaps today.
And also, I'm curious to see whether McCarthy gets any time this afternoon.
So, second down, handoff to Hassan Haskins. He gets up the middle. He gets maybe a few ones. He's going to make it all the way out to the 24-yard line, and Michigan's already in a third down position. It's going to be 3rd and 5 for the Wolverines. Ball on the 24.
Early in the season, we have seen a lot of button hooks in this type of situation, just getting the yards needed. One guy in the backfield and 4 out wide.
So Cade McNamara is the quarterback. He is in a shotgun. Got 10 seconds left on the play clock. Hassan Haskins is the back to his right. Cornelius Johnson into motion. McNamara drops back in the pocket. He has a wide open man, but it's tipped away. And Michigan Wolverines are going to go 3 and out on their first possession. Ball intended for Cornelius Johnson.
Yeah, and that's not how Michigan or Harbaugh want to really begin this game. Ideally, like they'd get a touchdown, but to not even get a first down and have to punt it and likely give the Terrapins good field position is not a good sign here in College Park.
Yeah, we're not accustomed to seeing Brad Robbins out there this early in the game, but he's going to punt away from his 10. Punt is up. It's a good one. It's a booming one. It's going to be received at the Maryland 30, and right away it's taken down by Junior Colson.
So Maryland's going to start probably at the 33, 34, depending on where it gets spotted. But Michigan's defense is coming out for the first time of the afternoon, and they come off a pretty strong week holding that electric Penn State Nittany Lion offense to under 20 points, which was enough for the win. We saw a career day for Hutchinson with 3 sacks.
Yeah, so we're going to see Talia Tungavailoa out there for the first time. He's been sacked 22 times this season, so can Aiden Hutchinson. And the first play right there is a pass, and the Maryland Terrapins get their first down. Pass completed to Carlos Carrier. That's their captain on that side of the ball right there.
Yeah, so Maryland wastes no time moving the chains, the one thing Michigan struggled to do on that first drive.
So right away, the ball is at the 50. Tungavailoa is in the shotgun formation, 3 wide receivers to his right. It's going to be a handoff up the middle right there, and they're going to get another first down, Maryland. It's going to be Tylen Fleet Davis with the first down right there, and they are already in Michigan territory at the 36-yard line.
Not a good sign for Michigan's defense right now. If Maryland is doing this to them, you could only imagine what Ohio State Buckeyes will put up next week.
We don't want to talk about that yet. But here's the play. Aiden Hutchinson right up there in the middle forces Tungavailoa out to his left, and he just has to throw a quick pass out and taken out at the 30-yard line. Pass is to Jarrett. Yeah, Jarrett this season, he has 5 TDs. Averaging about 13.6 yards per catch. So they got some wide receivers out there for the Terrapins. So now the ball is at the 31-yard line. Tungavailoa receives it, fakes the handoff. He's going to throw it across the middle, but it's going to be bounced off Aiden Hutchinson.
That is the promise of Aiden Hutchinson, and that's what many NFL scouts are looking to see when they are watching this game and watching his film all season. Even plays where he's not directly advancing at the quarterback, he makes an impact, even whether it's a direct one like that where he swats it down or just putting pressure to make the play accelerate so someone else could step up and stop it.
3rd down and 5. Empty backfield forward Tungavailoa. 12 left on the game clock. He's going to throw it out to Fleet Davis, and he's going to be taken down right at roughly about the line of scrimmage. Aiden Hutchinson on the tackle right there.
So this is going to be a decision for Maryland. They're about on the 30-yard line, so this will be about a 47-yard kick, whether they go for it. Looks like the place kicker is coming out.
Yeah, Joseph Petrino is going to go out there to attempt what looks to be about a 48-yard field goal attempt.
And we got some wind coming on, too, just as they line up.
The wind will be in his favor for this one. So snap is good, kick is up. And it's up through the uprights slides just right. Michigan dodges a bullet right there.
Yeah, up in the booth, we're at about the 40-yard line. Didn't get a great angle, but it just barely missed the uprights. And Michigan gets a gift there, so they'll take over on the 30. And now Michigan will come back out. They have yet to score a first down and only got 5 yards in that first drive. And despite giving up a couple of big plays to the Terrapins, they still remain tied with 11:34 in this first quarter. This atmosphere in College Park, it is certainly different than Ann Arbor on Saturdays. Not exactly a huge stadium. Yet there are still plenty of empty seats. I'd be surprised if there's more than 20 or 30,000 people in this stadium.
Yeah, right now I would call this the big house of the East Coast because it is majority Michigan fans out there. It holds about half, just about half of the capacity, less than half of the capacity that the big house holds. The capacity here at Capital One Field at Maryland is 51,802.
Yeah, I would be shocked if it's more than 30,000 fans in attendance right now.
And about 20,000 of those are Michigan fans.
Yeah, we see. I guess the student section is full of Maryland fans, hopefully. But in terms of the general admission, you're totally right. Lots of maize, lots of blue out there. And it makes sense. The D.C. area, College Park, is only about 5 miles from the D.C. border. And the whole DMV, the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area, has a lot of Michigan alums outside of New York and Chicago, and it's the third biggest hub, city, metropolitan area outside of Michigan with Michigan alums. So, and they come out to games. That's one of the benefits of being in this alumni club. You join the largest alumni club in the U.S., and they travel and they come and support their teams, especially when they play close to home.
Yeah, and quite a few coaches on Michigan's coaching staff are from the DMV, so that they have their ties here, family out there supporting them. I mean,
I'm curious if head coach Jim Harbaugh, if his brother came out to the game today. His brother coaches only about 40 miles away up in Baltimore.
I'd imagine he's somewhere around here.
I don't know if he, the brother, fraternal rivalry maybe prevents him from coming out to this game, but you never know.
So the Wolverines are out there. They're going to start this drive on their own 30. McNamara receives the ball, rolls out to his right. He's looking for receivers. He's going to throw it out into a tight window to Cornelius Johnson, and Johnson comes down with the ball. Going to be right at that line to gain. He's going to be ruled short, so it's going to be second down and less than a yard to go for the Wolverines.
This is a type of play in the past where we've seen just a push to Haskins, hoping to get one, and more often than not, he gets more than 5 or 6. These types of plays. He's in the backfield right now.
So second down, less than 1 to go. McNamara hands it off to Haskins. Haskins is going out to the right. He's going to get the first down again. He's going to get more, and we've seen that quite often this season where it's really tough to bring down Hassan Haskins. He bounces off that first, second tackle, and just a tough guy to bring down.
Absolutely. He is the power back, especially compared to Blake Corum, because both of them have put up record numbers this season, but they're a little bit different in how they achieve the yardage.
So fresh set of downs for the Wolverines. It's going to be an empty backfield. 3 wide receivers to the left of McNamara. Haskins goes into motion. McNamara receives the ball. He's going to go across Cornelius Johnson. He comes down with the ball. Makes it all the way out to the 50-yard line.
These slants is what we saw late in the game against the Nittany Lions, just picking away at the defense. And I am intrigued to see them going with this early in the game because they didn't implement that until late in the game last weekend. So maybe they were so impressed with how it turned out, they're hoping to continue it now.
So McNamara in the shotgun. Got 14 left on the play clock. McNamara receives the ball, hands it off to Haskins. Haskins up the left. He's got a gap right there, and he makes it all the way into Maryland territory where he's taken down at the 39-yard line. So Hassan Haskins taking all the hands off so far. We have yet to see Blake Corum out there.
I'm curious to see whether he'll get any minutes. He has been injured the past couple of weeks. And Michigan is hoping that this isn't exactly a close game, so I think ideally they won't even want to use him too much.
McNamara receives the ball, fakes the handoff. He's going to go across the middle. He has wide receivers, but he's flushed out to his right, and he just has to throw it away. It is intended for Eric All, but he cannot come down with the pass right there, so it's going to be second down and long for the Wolverines.
Yeah, so 2nd and 10. I believe they're going to rule it incomplete. And Michigan is in the 39, so they're not quite in Moody's range yet, but only about 5 yards away or so.
Yep. Michigan on the Maryland 39-yard line. 9:22 left in the first quarter. McNamara receives the ball. Play action. He's going to throw it out to it looks like Cornelius Johnson, and Cornelius Johnson cannot keep his feet moving and just falls down by himself.
He did get a gain of 9 yards or so it's going to be 3rd and 2 rather, but on the 31. So even if they don't end up making this conversion, I would imagine Moody's coming out after this play.
That's a long distance for Jake Moody to come out.
I think it's 31. We saw the Maryland kicker just attempt a very similar one. Ideally, they would like the first down, though.
So here we go. McNamara hands it off to Haskins. Haskins up the middle, bounces off to the left, and then he's right at that line to gain right there. Referees signal the first down, so a fresh set of downs for the Wolverines. Hassan Haskins converting another first down for Michigan.
And that is huge, keeps Michigan's offense on the field, and will likely result in an even closer field goal or potentially a touchdown.
So the ball now at the Maryland 29. McNamara is in the shotgun. You got two wide receivers to the left, one underneath. McNamara drops back in the pocket, looks to his left. He's going to throw it up to, intended for Roman Wilson, but there is a flag on the play right there, and it looks like it's going to be a holding on the Maryland defense.
Yeah, and that was pretty clear, it seems like. I'm curious where they spot it, but at a minimum, it'll move Michigan at least 15, possibly more yards. And that was intended for Roman Wilson. He was the one who had the foul committed against him. He had a huge week last week in Happy Valley. He had two separate touchdowns, both of them pretty electric play calling, interesting routes. So we saw McNamara looking for him once again from State College, Pennsylvania to College Park, Maryland. Yeah,
so the flag is on Bennett, and now it moves Michigan into the red zone for the first time today. So McNamara receives the ball, hands it off to Haskins. Haskins up the right, and he's going to be taken down in the backfield right there.
That was a great play by the middle linebacker.
Yeah, Ruben Hippolyte coming through right there and just meets Haskins in the backfield to force a 2nd down and 10 for the Wolverines. Ball on the 17.
We got Haskins in the backfield, but we got tight end coming in off the bench. Michigan used a lot of tight end action last week, including in the critical drive that ended up clinching the game.
So McNamara in the shotgun, Haskins to his right. McNamara drops back, looks to his left. Slant route intended for Roman Wilson, but is deflected at the line of scrimmage, and it just falls down. It's going to be 3rd down and 10 for Michigan. Ball was intended for Roman Wilson.
This is a big-time play for the Maryland Terrapins. If they're able to get a stop here, they'll likely save 4 points as Michigan lines up on the 16-yard line, so well within the red zone.
McNamara is going to go with an empty backfield. He got 3 wide receivers to his left, 1 underneath. It's Donovan Edwards. Donovan Edwards checking in the game for the first time. McNamara receives the ball. He's got Edwards wide open right there in the 10, taken out at the 2-yard line, but he will get the first down for Michigan. Donovan Edwards, a true freshman out of West Bloomfield, making an impact on his first time checking into this game.
Yeah, diving for the pylon, pushed out of bounds, mere feet.
Michigan going with the up-tempo offense. Edwards is the back to the right of McNamara. McNamara drops back. He's got a wide open man. It's Luke Schoonmaker for the touchdown right there.
Once again, the tight end comes in clutch in the end zone, and Michigan goes up 6-0 early in this first quarter.
Yeah, going back to that play right there, Michigan going with the up-tempo offense, play-action play right there, and Luke Schoonmaker is wide open to the left side of McNamara for a Michigan touchdown, and Jake Moody out there to attempt the extra point.
And the fans are really loud. You could hear "Hail to the Victors" even on the road.
As expected, Moody sends that one up through the uprights, hitting the scoreboard behind. Right there, and Michigan jumps out to a 7-0 lead here in College Park. 7:09 left in the first quarter.
Yeah, really just showcasing that leg, Moody, over the net, and it hit the Jumbotron. I don't know if I want to call that a Jumbotron because the one on the other side of the field is much, much larger, but maybe the Minitron or so on the east side of this field.
That last scoring drive right there, 11 plays, 70 yards, 4:25 off the clock, ending with a 2-yard touchdown pass to Luke Schoonmaker.
Yes, and Schoonmaker, along with All, are showing their extendability in this game. Especially McNamara likes to mix it up and really get those guys involved.
So we got a media timeout right here, and let's take a look at some scores around the college football landscape, and we'll bring in Zach Linfield for this one.
Well, hey, everybody. Michigan obviously up now 7-0 over Maryland on their senior day, but we're taking a look at some scores from across the country, and, well, we might as well start with the big one, Amer, and that's in Columbus, Ohio State, Michigan State. What a first half for the Buckeyes. They were leading 49-0, only scored 7 points in the second half. They take down the Spartans 76-7, doing Michigan a favor if they can take care of business here today. Number 1, Georgia in Athens took down Charleston Southern by a score of 56-7. Clemson, also at home, upsets Wake Forest, but can you really ever call it an upset if Clemson's at home against a ranked team? They take down the Demon Deacons 48-27. Elsewhere, Oklahoma knocked off Iowa State and Matt Campbell 28-21 to potentially keep their college football playoff hopes alive. Texas A&M took care of business against Prairie View A&M 52-3. Number 25th ranked Mississippi State 55-10 over Tennessee State. And currently in action in the Big Ten, Iowa, number 17 ranked, is leading 17-13 over Illinois. Alabama over Arkansas 3-0. And Wisconsin and Nebraska currently tied in Madison.
Thank you, Zach, for that update around the college football landscape. Lots of games going on that have a lot of meaningful impact going into next weekend.
The CFP is really shaking up to be an interesting one this year. It always seems like that, especially with only 4 spots. It feels like only one Big Ten team is going to be able to make it, and more likely than not, it'll be the winner of the Big Ten East, which is shaping up to look like it'll be decided at noon in Ann Arbor next weekend.
So Jake Moody out on the field to get this one going. He sends it up, and it's going to be a signal for a fair catch by Reese Undiski. So Maryland will start out at their own 20-yard line, and we're going to have Talia Tungavailoa go back out there, a transfer junior transferring from Alabama, 5'11", 200 pounds. How does he look? Does he look like his brother out there, Adam?
He does not quite the same zip on the ball, but little glimpses, I guess. You could see some similarities out there.
So Maryland to start out on their own 25, and right there, this Michigan defense forces a flag on the Maryland offense. Aiden Hutchinson pointing that one out instantly right away, and you know it's pretty intimidating when you got big 97 coming at you.
That's one of the underrated aspects of being a good defensive lineman. You could make a difference in ways that won't appear directly in the box score, but are certainly important.
So it's a 5-yard penalty. It's going to be a false start on Glaze, and it's going to back Maryland up to their own 20-yard line. So Tungavailoa in the shotgun, hands it off. Play action right there, and he's going to go across the middle, but it's deflected.
Diving play, too. Michigan was looking to potentially get a interception there, but unable to wheel it on in.
Yeah, R.J. Moten coming through and getting a deflection on there, and it's going to be 2nd down and 15 for Maryland. Tungavailoa in the shotgun formation. Drops back in the pocket, looks to his right. He has an open receiver. It's going to be taken down instantly right there.
Going to be a gain of 4 or 5.
Yeah,
but still 3rd and long.
Rod Moore on the tackle right there. It's going to be 3rd down and 10, so they're back to the original start after the false start penalty. So Tungavailoa in the empty. Michigan is going to bring 6 defenders right there. Pocket collapsing, tries to dump it off across the middle, but cannot come with it, so it's going to be a 3-and-out for Maryland.
Yeah, that was in the hands of Darryl Jones for the Terrapins, just unable to wheel it on in. You look at Maryland's wide receiver history, probably the best wide receiver to at least grace them in the past decade, possibly this whole century, is Stephon Diggs. He was a Maryland alum.
So A.J. Henning is standing at his own 25-yard line. Michigan's going to get the ball back with 6:33 left in the first quarter. Punt is up and almost Michigan gets to the house right there. But A.J. Henning receives it at the 30. He's going to bring it out. He's got some defenders to beat, shakes off a couple, but is taken down at the 33-yard line. So Michigan is going to start this drive at the 33.
We've seen that all year where Henning has had some moves, maybe break one or two tackles, but just ultimately get down. Mark my words, one of these plays he'll find a way into the end zone.
Eventually, right?
Eventually, he's due. He's due for that. But yes.
So 6:21 left. We're just getting started here in the first quarter. Michigan up 7-0 over Maryland. First drive was a 3-and-out for the Wolverines. Second drive ended in a 2-yard touchdown pass to Luke Schoonmaker. What are we in for this third one, Adam? Do we expect them to keep it on the ground with Haskins or kind of open it up a little bit more and go through the air?
Here's my speculation. I'll see Haskins. He'll get a big play, maybe a gain of 20 or 30. Ultimately finding Roman Wilson in the end zone for maybe a slant for a 10, 15-yard touchdown.
Yeah, Roman Wilson coming off a career performance last week at Penn State, scoring 2 touchdowns for the Wolverines, and then capped off by that just Eric All showing just the experience by Eric All to go all the way into the end zone, even with an ankle injury.
Michigan fans were very concerned after that first game, losing Ronnie Bell for the season. There were a lot of question marks about who would step up in the receiver position. And we saw Cornelius Johnson really take the reins early in the year. And then later on, we saw Roman Wilson really step out into that role as well. And then, as I mentioned earlier on the broadcast, the tight ends also got engaged in this passing game offense in ways that we hadn't seen too much in the past, since it's almost like since Jake Butt graduated was the last time we have seen tight ends being utilized the way they have the past couple of weeks. But much success so far in doing that. And I think what is on every Michigan fan's mind, and probably all the players and coaches, is looking ahead to this OSU game. I know it's probably not great for Michigan to look beyond this game at hand now, but it certainly looms large. It's a cloudy day, and it's looming over the OSU implications after this one. And we see the student section there unfurling a Maryland flag. So Maryland, for those who don't know, has one of the more interesting flags in the Union. It's some people find it ugly, some people really enjoy it, but certainly kind of polarizing in your opinion on it. You either love it or hate it. I'm probably more in the love camp. It's certainly unique, though.
Stadium slowly filling up, but majority is still Michigan fans, and they're going to have the Michigan offense out there. Edwards is the back. McNamara receives the ball, looking to go deep. Pass intended for Cornelius Johnson, coming across right the middle, but cannot come down with the ball. So it's going to be 2nd down and 10 for the Wolverines. Hassan Haskins checking back into this game.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of drops from Cornelius Johnson. I don't think on that one it was necessarily on him. It was just a step or two, a miscommunication rather, between him and the quarterback.
So McNamara in the shotgun. You got Edwards to his right, 3 wide receivers to the left, 1 underneath to the right. McNamara is going to be forced out to his right. He's got to throw it out to Edwards. Edwards comes down with the ball, gets across the 40, and he's going to be taken down just short of that 1st down line. So it's going to be 3rd down and short for the Wolverines.
Edwards, as a younger player on this team, is wondering, myself included, many fans were wondering if he'd get a lot of playing time today, and so far the answer is yes. And I'm curious to see if they'll use him more as a back as well, to maybe prepare the future of this program.
So here we go, 3rd down, handoff to Haskins, right up the middle. He gets the 1st down, but we do have some laundry out on the field, and we're going to see what the flag is on this one.
Michigan doing what they love to do on 3rd and short, just give it to Haskins, and he's pretty much automatic. A legal formation on Michigan, so that'll bring it on back, 3rd and 6.
Yeah, that's a tough one right there. So legal formation. Sets the Wolverines back, so it's going to be 3rd down and 6. Now, do they go with the same type of play, or do they try to go through the air? Looks like they're going to switch it up as Haskins is going to the bench. Edwards coming in back to this one.
3rd and 6 completely changes the game plan. It takes out the running back option for all intents and purposes. I imagine maybe a slant or maybe a hook for a gain of 6 or 7.
Play clock under 10 seconds right now. No urgency. Michigan might have to call a timeout. 5 seconds left. And that's exactly what they do as Jim Harbaugh signals a timeout. Just a lot of confusion there on that one. Wolverines are going to take their first timeout of the half, get everybody on the same page.
That's unfortunate. That's a self-inflicted mistake right there. In this game, it might not play a big factor, but in the future, you don't want to be giving up timeouts like that, especially in the second half, especially against Ohio State or potentially Wisconsin and Indianapolis or even beyond that. So with 5:18 remaining in this first quarter, Michigan leads 7-0, and they have the ball, but it's 3rd and 6 at this timeout as they look to advance further and keep it out of Maryland's hands in College Park.
So plenty of storylines coming into this game for the Wolverines. With a victory today, it would be the 3rd time that Jim Harbaugh would have at least a 10-plus 10-plus wins in a season with the Wolverines. And with everything on the line next weekend against Ohio State, that game just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it always seems like it too, and I feel almost Sisyphusian, where every year Michigan fans think this could be the one, and then it reminds me, you know what it reminds me of? Charlie Brown, where Lucy would tee up the football every season, every week, and he'd think he'd finally get it, run on up with all the anticipation, and then swing and a miss. And I feel like Michigan might be in for another one of those this year, especially after that Michigan State game. I know there's going to be some differences because the Michigan State game was in Columbus, and now the Michigan game is going to be in Ann Arbor. And the weather could play a factor. As of now, it's looking like there will be snow and wind, which probably benefits the Wolverines a little bit because it'll probably neutralize Ohio State's passing game. And Michigan probably has the advantage if both teams have to run it, both in their run defense and their running back options.
So we are back out in this one. You got 5:18 left. Michigan in a 3rd down and 6 to go situation. You're going to have 3 wide receivers to the top, 1 underneath. Donovan Edwards is the back. McNamara is in the shotgun formation. 23 seconds left on the play clock. As Mike Sanders still signals into motion, McNamara drops back in the pocket, looks to his left. He has Edwards across the middle, but it's deflected at the line of scrimmage, and the ball just falls down short, and the Wolverines will be forced to punt on this drive.
Wolverines are lucky that a Terrapin could not dive under that one. It was hanging up in the air for what felt like 20 seconds, and it eventually found some free real estate on the turf. But they will be lucky to punt it, and if the first punt was any indication, Maryland's going to be backed up deep in their own territory.
Yeah, pass intended for Donovan Edwards on the slant. He was wide open, would have got that first down, but the ball was knocked down at the line of scrimmage. So it sends out Brad Robbins to kick this one away to Tahir Still. It's a good punt. It's going to be taken out at the 19-yard line, and that's where Tagovailoa and the Terrapins will start their 3rd drive. Second one was not as good as the first drive. Maryland was able to get into Michigan territory and ended up missing the 48-yard field goal attempt.
Yeah, so Maryland looking to just get any points on the board now, but they're still within 7, and it's still anyone's game because it's super early. Tad over 5 minutes remaining in this one. Fans are still streaming in, but still a lot of empty seats. I'll be curious what the final attendance number is revealed to be.
So Tagovailoa with the ball, play action, and he hands it off to Penny Bone, and he's taken down in the backfield right there by Josh Ross. A loss of looks like 8 yards on that one.
Yeah, Ross read that like a book and picked up the huge loss. It's going to be 2nd and 18.
Yeah, you have Ojabo and Hutchinson getting a lot of credit for this defense, but, you know, Josh Ross is also a key part on this defense right there.
He's also a captain, too, so, like, playing-wise and emotionally.
Tagovailoa drops back in the pocket, intended for a receiver right there, but he cannot come down with it. It was intended for Penny Bone. So it's going to be 3rd down and long for Maryland. We said that on the last drive right there. Michigan looking to force another 3-and-out.
And now Maryland's backed up in their own territory, so they might not have a ton of room to punt it anyway.
Yeah, another sack would be fantastic for Michigan. Aiden Hutchinson and David Ojabo trying to set the single-season record for career sacks in a game. So here goes Tagovailoa, drops back in the pocket, pressure coming. Aiden Hutchinson's right there, forces Tagovailoa out to the right, and he just has to throw it into traffic. Nobody is there to come down with it, so it's going to be a 3-and-out for Maryland once again.
Michigan probably had a couple guys closer to the ball than Maryland did. He was lucky it didn't get intercepted.
Yeah, great pocket presence there by Tagovailoa to sense Aiden Hutchinson coming from his backside, rolling out to his right and just throwing it into traffic. But Maryland sends out the punt unit. You're going to have A.J. Henning standing at his own 40-yard line. Does Michigan send the house on this one?
I don't think you do.
So punt is up and away. It's not the greatest punt. It's going to bounce, and it's going to come into A.J. Henning. He's going to bring it out. He gets into Maryland territory, breaks a few tackles, and then just gets taken down at the 45-yard line.
If he would have broken that last one, he would have had room to run. But Michigan still begins with phenomenal field position to begin this one on Maryland's 45. And the offense comes back out for the 4th time this evening or afternoon. It feels like an evening. It's so cloudy they had to turn on the stadium lights here.
So J.J. McCarthy, the true freshman's in at quarterback now. First time he's in to this game. So Michigan's going to start in plus territory, best field position this whole entire game. McCarthy in the shotgun, gives the handoff to Haskins. Haskins up the right. He's into plus territory, gets taken down inside the 35-yard line. Hassan Haskins moving the chains.
And Michigan practically once again in Moody's shooting range at this point. It'll be a long one if he had to go for it now, but he could. And it's 1st down with the new set of downs.
Right now we're looking at the future of Michigan football with McCarthy at quarterback. Donovan Edwards to his left. McCarthy drops back. He's going to throw it out to Edwards. Edwards breaks a few tackles where he gets out to the 31-yard line.
And beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pick set by the tight end right there, trying to make room, but only able to pick up 3 yards or so for Edwards.
So J.J. McCarthy is going to go out to the sidelines, and Cade McNamara back into this game now. 3:21 left. Michigan up 7-0 here in College Park. So McNamara in the shotgun. Hassan Haskins to his right. McNamara drops back, looks to his left. Good pocket presence. Great offensive line. McNamara is going to be flushed out. He's going to go up the middle, and he's going to be just short of that 1st down. Going to be marked down at the Maryland 25-yard line.
That's not something we've seen a ton of this season, is McNamara on his feet.
So 3rd down and 2, handoff to Haskins. Haskins fighting for that 1st down, but doesn't look like he's going to get it on that 2nd attempt. So it's going to be 4th down and short.
Harbaugh has a decision at hand. It's only about a foot or so, it looks like.
Going back to that play right there, Harbaugh going with the tempo, trying to get the Maryland defense on their heels, but he's going to keep the offense out there. 2 wide receivers to the top, 1 underneath. McNamara hands it off to Haskins. Haskins up the middle.
He has it.
He was met at the wall right there, but Michigan's offensive line is just so dominant, and they're going to get the 1st down right there. Hassan Haskins moving the chains for the Wolverines.
That's all you ask for him, is just to get the chains moving, and Haskins has a sneak. He has 37 yards already.
Yeah, the Wolverines knocking on the door of the red zone once again, looking to extend their lead as we approach the 2-minute mark in this 1st quarter. So McNamara in the shotgun. Hassan Haskins to his right. 2 wide receivers to the right of McNamara. McNamara fakes the handoff. He's going to look to go deep. He's going to throw it up to Andrel Anthony. And what a catch by Andrel Anthony right there. Falling down, the freshman ever since Michigan State. Remember his name is what he said, basically.
Yeah. And that'll be 1st and goal on about the 4-yard line. Michigan trying to keep that tempo. We saw that earlier when they had the penalty that brought them into the 5, and they're doing that again now.
So 1st down and goal for the Wolverines. Wolverines going with the up-tempo. They're going to hand it off to Haskins. Haskins up the middle, and he just gets taken down at the 2-yard line right there.
Curious to see if they tried pounding it in again or maybe air it out here. Johnson had some room on that last play. I was thinking maybe a play action could have gotten a touchdown.
So the ball is on the Maryland 2-yard line. It's 2nd down and goal. McNamara hands it off to Haskins. Haskins up the middle for another Michigan touchdown. Hassan Haskins with the 1-yard carry, extending the Michigan lead 13-0.
That is big for the Wolverines that they were able to score on this. So with under a minute remaining, a little bit over a minute remaining in this first quarter, up by potentially 14 if this goes in. This whole drive hinged on that 4th and short that Michigan was able to reel on in.
So Jake Moody does what Moody's done all season long, sends the ball through the uprights. Michigan up now 14-0, 1:08 left in the first quarter.
And the Michigan fans are loud once again. There's a coach, I guess, with the big flag running through the end zone. Maybe a cheerleader. A couple of cheerleaders traveled with the team down to Maryland. But the fans certainly came on out today. And we already see some students filing on out. Couldn't even make it through the first quarter, it seems like.
Get the buses warmed up, baby.
It is a cold one out there, so props to anyone who's out there. I feel lucky to be in the press box up here. They're treating us well in the press box.
The best.
Yeah, have some Mountain Dew and Chick-fil-A. Can't ask for much more.
Our favorite meals of the season, Chick-fil-A and Qdoba. Could not ask for anything better.
Yeah.
But going back to football, Michigan, you know, they've come under criticism for getting into the red zone and not pounding it in right there. They've shown that they're starting to turn it around. And Mike Hart mentioned that it's execution, especially with Josh Gaddis as well. But here goes Jake Moody punting the ball away, and we're gonna have Maryland's gonna bring it out right there. He's gonna get taken down inside the 20-yard line.
And Maryland looking to just make anything happen. The only time they could really move it was that first drive. And even then, they couldn't get any gain of it, any points on the scoreboard due to that missed field goal at the end.
Yeah, Nakai Hill-Green on the tackle right there for the Wolverines. And Maryland not going to start in any good field position right there. They're going to start at their own 18-yard line. So you got Tagovailoa in the shotgun formation. Tagovailoa hands it off, and it's going to be taken down. Michigan's defense is just doing a fantastic job. Josh Ross on the tackle right there for the Wolverines.
And with that, it's going to be 2nd and 8.
So 2nd down and 8, handoff to McDonald. Fakes the handoff, play action right there, and then Tua just dumps it off to a wide receiver, and they're going to get the first down on this one.
So that's the first down in a while for Maryland. They the past couple of drives have been 3 and out.
Yeah, Maryland now getting something to go right here as we got 30 seconds left in the first quarter. They're going to hand it off once again. They're going to get it across the 35-yard line. Do they look to get another playoff, or are they going to send it into the intermission in between the quarters? So we got 13 seconds left on the game clock. It looks like they're going to try to do one more. Tagovailoa in the shotgun. He's going to air it out. He throws it to Okongwu. He's going to get the first down. multiple Michigan defenders. Got to bring him down right there, and that's going to end the first quarter. Maryland able to get the first down, so they're going to still be in their own territory when they return. But your Michigan Wolverines are up 14-0 over Maryland, and you're listening to Michigan football on WCBN Sports.
Yeah, we'd like to thank you for spending your Friday or Saturday afternoon with us. We're live from College Park, Maryland, as Michigan leads 14-0. And we are actually going to have a substitution up in the booth. Our very own Amer Bektas is headed to Reagan Airport to catch a plane to Vegas. He will be covering the Michigan tournament, the men's basketball tournament in Las Vegas this weekend. So we have Zachary Linfield. Always a pleasure to be up with you in the booth. I feel like the last time.
Practice for next week.
Yeah, we'll be together in the OSU game, so we're
It'll
getting.
be just me and you the whole time.
Yeah, we'll have a halftime show with a couple of alumni, but during the gameplay, it'll be both of us the entire one, and it'll be just like this. You'll be play-by-play, and I'll be at color. So
it'll be a good time.
It will be a great time, and I'm pretty excited about that game. I know we have one game at hand, but that's what's in the back of my mind at the moment. You know how it is. It seems like from the beginning of every season, that's the game that truly matters. Michigan could go 1-10. As long as they win that game, the season's a success. And Harbaugh has yet to win that game. It's been a decade since Michigan won against Ohio State. I guess they didn't lose to Ohio State last season, but they didn't exactly win either. So a lot of question marks, and Ohio State seems to just look stronger and stronger by the week. Early in the year, they looked really vulnerable against Minnesota, against Oregon, but then each week they played Maryland, they played Rutgers, they played Penn State actually was pretty close, and then now Michigan State completely blew them out of the water, the team that gave Michigan a lot of trouble 3 weeks ago on Halloween. So a lot of question marks about how these teams are going to pair up next week, but I assure you it'll be a good one.
Yeah, and I'm sure you and I will get to it a lot more after the game today about the preview of the Wolverines and the Buckeyes next Saturday in Ann Arbor, which is going to be, of course, if Michigan wins this football game, the biggest home game in Ann Arbor, at least in the last decade.
Probably since the 2006, where it was 1-2, I'd imagine.
And that was in Columbus.
Oh, that was in Columbus. You're right.
It's the biggest home game in quite some time for the Wolverines. And, of course, you've got to take care of the task at hand, and that's right down there on the field here at College Park. Just finishing off the Maryland Terrapins with a 14-0 lead and 45 minutes to play in the game.
Before the Terrapins start off, I have a quick question. Do you think game day's coming to Ann Arbor next week?
I would assume if the Wolverines won today, the College game day and Big Noon Kickoff and Barstool would all be in Ann Arbor next week to complete the trifecta.
Yeah, the trifecta would be huge. I think that would be the first time since it was Michigan State when they did that too.
Gameplay resumes with the Terrapins having the ball at their own 48-yard line. Tunga Vailoa in the shotgun. Hands off to his running back, Colby McDonald. The third-string running back is past the 50 inside Michigan territory and rumbles down to the 46. Pickup of 6 yards on the play. It'll bring up 2nd and 4. McDonald running hard, and straight to the line go the Terrapins. Tunga Vailoa in the shotgun. His feet are offset, gets the snap. Hands off on a counter up the middle. There goes McDonald again. Got the first down past the 40, and he's down to the 39. A couple of helmets bouncing off Terrapin offensive linemen.
And it seems like the Terrapins have a new game plan, keeping this moving quick, and so far it's working well for them. We haven't seen the offense this successful since the very first drive.
Tunga Vailoa in the shotgun, plus territory for the Terps, trailing 14-0, 14:20 to go in the second quarter. He shifts McDonald from his right into the pistol. Tunga Vailoa gets a snap, turns off to the right, hands off McDonald. He's got space to the 30-yard line, almost breaks past Junior Colson, and that's where he's torn down. The Terrapins on a fantastic drive right now, 8 yards on that pickup. It's 2nd and 2.
Going to be an interesting play call here, whether we see a blitz or not. Michigan certainly likes to get the whole team involved to some success last week, but they also got burnt a little bit as well.
Tagovailoa in the shotgun. Hands off again, McDonald. This time the Wolverines defense is on it. He got one. It'll bring up third down and really short, about half a yard for the Terrapins. It's Michigan taking their time to substitute. You know, in the NCAA, they let you take your time when it comes to substituting. And Michigan, who was getting beaten by the NASCAR tempo this whole drive, finally got a play of less than 3 yards against the Terrapins. Penny Boone is the running back for the first time on this drive. Handoff up the middle. Ross was there to make the stop, but Boone got the first down. They needed one, they got two. First down for Maryland, nearing the 25-yard line in the red zone for the Wolverines.
And it's just the tempo of this game, this drive that's really, I don't know about messing up if that's the right word, but it's different for the Wolverines and they're having trouble to adjust to it.
Tagovailoa with two receivers to the left side. He gets the snap. Looking down the sideline, it's complete. That's the senior carrier inside the 15-yard line. He's pushed out of bounds by Turner at the 14. Another nice pickup for the Terrapins and another first down for the Terps.
And they're barking on the door of this end zone, looking to get their first points of the game.
In the pistol, here's a fake handoff to Fleet Davis. Into the flat goes Okonkwo, and he's brought down at the 6. Terrapins moving the ball with ease on this drive against the Wolverine defense. And Chikozim Okonkwo is one of the leaders along with Colby McDonald.
Michigan just has no answer for the Terrapins this drive.
Tagovailoa gets the snap, turns, hands off to the right side. There's a flag down. That might be the biggest help the Wolverines have gotten on this drive. Boone was able to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Shot block.
It's a shot block instead of a hold. It was right in that area where holding usually called.
Yeah, and regardless, it was on the Terrapins, so it's going to move them back quite a bit, I believe 15 yards. So it's going to be 2nd and 16, so Michigan gets a little bit of a break there, but still in the red zone for the Terrapins, or just barely out of the red zone. They're on the 20 and 1-inch yard line.
Ball sits at the right hash. Terps moving from left to right after the quarter break. 12 minutes to go. Michigan leads 14-0 here in College Park. 2nd down and 16. The Wolverines have some breathing room on defense for the first time on the drive. Holding him to a field goal here would be a success. Split running backs for Tagovailoa. He drops to throw. Now he escapes the pocket to the right side. Looking, he's got his receiver, Rakim Jarrett, at the 5-yard line, and he's pushed out of bounds there. R.J. Moten had to push him out, but that's real close to the first down marker. I think he's just shy.
So once again, another 3rd and short. Let's see if Maryland's able to convert. They were able to do it with ease earlier, but you got to be pretty disgruntled if you're Michigan's defense that you had 2nd and 16 and you're very possibly going to give this give up another first down here.
Clock moving to 11:30 to go in the second quarter. Michigan slowly substituting to allow their defense to catch a break. Tagovailoa in the shotgun. The pistol back is McDonald on 3rd down and 1. Gets the snap, turns, hands off. McDonald got the first down. Smith was there to make the stop.
Michigan's
That's a lot closer than I thought, Adam. It may be real close to that first down marker.
Michigan's making the stop, but it's just on both times it was just an inch or foot or two beyond the line. And are they going to bring out the chains?
No, they gave him the first down.
Oh, they did? Okay, so going to be 1st and goal. It says 4th down on the scoreboard. Okay, now they're saying 1st down.
Tagovailoa in the shotgun. An offensive lineman moved. That'll be a false start on the right guard, Jahari Branch.
Michigan with some more breathing room, so it's still 1st and goal, but it's going to move him back to the 9-yard line. Michigan still up by 14, and Maryland has yet to put any points on the board. But if this drive has been any indication, they'll soon be in. The only attempts at Michigan stopping them have been self-inflicted with penalties.
Tagovailoa brings Jarrett in motion to the right side. Hands off to the right side. McDonald breaking free at the 5-yard line, and he's taken down by Moten, a shoestring tackle. There's laundry on the field. And they're pointing towards the Terrapins.
Going to have to see what the call is on. Another illegal shift. Wow, so it's going to be another 5 yards. Still first down. So they just keep moving on back, and it's all thanks to Maryland. It's going to be first and goal on the 14.
And the Wolverines will certainly take that.
Yeah, they began on the 4-yard line, and now they just keep moving back. But the Wolverines on defense haven't been able to stop Maryland. The only success they've had is Maryland's own penalties.
Tagovailoa empty in the shotgun. He moves his running back, Tayon Fleet-Davis, to the right side in single coverage. Talia will keep it, and he's tackled, wrapped up immediately by the Wolverine defense. Maybe got a yard to the 13. Ross and Ojabo on the stop for the Wolverines. No, I love the strategy right now, Adam, that Michigan's using. You can see Chris Hinton just jog onto the field. Mozzie Smith is taking his sweet time to get off. The referees are standing over the ball. Well, the Terps are substituting. That gives Michigan's defense a chance to rest for a second and see the formation that Maryland's bringing out there. Tagovailoa in the shotgun. Fleet-Davis to his left, dropping to throw, looking towards the end zone, and it's incomplete. He had a wide-open receiver, Corey Dyches, and he was unable to come down with the one-handed catch.
Yeah, it just had too much zip on it. Probably could have gotten it to him, but anything a bit softer might have been tipped or even caught by Josh Ross, who is back there, but it would have been a tough needle to thread, I guess. But that was not the way to do it.
And the goal for Michigan on this 3rd down and goal from the 13 is play penalty-free football and force the Terps into a field goal opportunity. Tagovailoa from the shotgun. Fleet-Davis is running back to the left. A bad snap. Tagovailoa steps up in the pocket, throws across the middle, and it's incomplete. He had Dyches again, and he missed him.
Yeah, I wonder if that's an indictment of the quarterback now at this point. 2 plays in a row with an open man in the end zone. Open is relative. There were 2 guys relatively close.
It would have had to be a good pass.
It would have had to be a good pass, and it was not. So I guess he's lucky it's incomplete and not intercepted, and they will bring the kicker back on the field. 0 for 1 today, but this one is much closer. It's on the 15, so it'll end up being a 31-yard is what it'll be.
Joseph Petrino's kick is up, and it is good. The Terrapins are on the board with the score being 14-3 with 9:37 to go here in the second quarter in College Park.
Yeah, so Maryland has to be disappointed with them moving the ball so well that entire drive and then coming out of it with only 3 points. Michigan, obviously, they'd like to not give up any points if they can, but they got to be pretty psyched the way they were moving it, not only to back them up so much, but prevent a touchdown. There were probably 4 or 5 plays where with a better pass or a better route, they could have ended up in the end zone.
You know what that kind of reminded me of? Within the middle of the season, at least, where Michigan wasn't scoring as many points as they were in the beginning, that was kind of a Michigan-esque drive when it came to the result. They had a fantastic drive all the way down the field, got inside the red zone, 1 or 2 negative plays or a couple of penalties, and you have to settle for a field goal. You feel like you did the work to get all the way down there, and with ground and pound, Michigan muscle, Maryland kind of did the same thing.
Yeah, it feels good to be on the other end of this one now as a little bit of a homer broadcaster up here. But you're right. It did feel familiar, and Michigan is lucky to be on the defensive side. Obviously, they wouldn't like to give up a touchdown or any points on that, but it was probably a win for Michigan and Coach Harbaugh to hold them to 3, and they still have an 11-point lead here, and they will be receiving the ball with under 10 minutes to go in the first half.
I'm sure offensive coordinator for Maryland, Dan Enos, is quite disappointed with the result of the drive. And last week against Michigan State, out of their 3 touchdowns, 2 of them were to Okonkwo, and both of them were 32 yards. The other touchdown was a 4-yard run by Penny Boone.
Yeah.
So they were able to score from inside the red zone one time against the Spartans in East Lansing last weekend. But now they'll be forced to kick it off, trailing 14-3 against the Wolverines here on their senior day in College Park. 9:37 to go, 11-point spread for the Wolverines as A.J. Henning is deep to return the kick. Joseph Petrino, who's now 1 for 2 on the day, after nailing a 30-yarder to cut into the Wolverines' lead, will be kicking it off. He now improves to 4 out of 5 from 30 to 39-yard range on the season. A slow walk up to the ball to the 35-yard line, boots it away, and A.J. Henning will immediately call for a fair catch, and that's where the Wolverines' offense at the 25-yard line will begin trying to expand their lead from 14-3.
I'm curious to see how they mix it up here. 14-3 is it's certainly a lead, but it's not exactly huge. So whether they change up the game plan at all or continue to stick with McNamara and Haskins as they have earlier in the game, I'm curious to see after halftime if they maybe try and give JJ a bit more of a leash.
McNamara is the quarterback. Haskins is to his left. Hands off to Haskins up the middle, bounces off one defender. He's to the 30-yard line and dives forward to the 33. Referees officially mark him at the 34. They've got about a half yard to go, a yard and a half, for the first down on the second down play.
So it'll be a 9-yard gain for Haskins. With that, he has 50 on the day. So it feels like more because he's been getting the ball quite a bit. He has 12 attempts.
Second down and 1. McNamara claps his hands, gets the snap, hands off Haskins. Lots of room when he stumbles past the 40-yard line up to the 42, and that's where number 25 lays down flat. First down for the Wolverines. The first on this drive. The Haskins, like you said, 50 on the day coming into that last snap. Coming into today, however, 985 yards on the season for H2. He's now passed 1,000 yards on the season. 2,000 overall for his career.
That's a huge milestone as a Wolverine.
Good for him. McNamara in the shotgun. Haskins to his left again. Fakes the handoff to him. Plenty of time in the pocket. Throws to the right side. It's complete. That's Dayton Baldwin. Haven't seen him in a while. He's to midfield, and he's marked right there at the 50-yard line, just inside Maryland territory. The Wolverines will have second down and 2.
And Michigan, with that, they moved just barely into the Terrapins territory on, it's on the 49.5-yard line.
McNamara in the shotgun. Again, Haskins is to his left. Haskins gets the handoff this time. He's got the first down, rumbles to the 46. Picked up 4 on the play. First down for the Wolverines at the 46-yard line.
And this is more in line with their second drive of the game rather than their last one or the very first one. They seem to be finding success every play, either getting a gain of 6 or 7 or getting a first down.
Here's Donovan Edwards, who's had a decent half catching the football for the Wolverines. He'll not get the handoff. McNamara will keep it around the right end, and he's cut down at the 50-yard line. He tried a bootleg, trying to hide the football on his right hip, but was taken down for a 4-yard loss. Nick Cross on the stop for the Terrapins.
And that's why I think Cade should probably stick to throw. And unlike JJ, doesn't quite have the mobility to make a ton of that go. But he did get a big pickup on his feet earlier in this game. So we have seen some movement. But that play wasn't it.
That's promising to see for Wolverine fans, a quarterback that's not afraid to run the football. Edwards goes from right to left in the backfield for McNamara. He gets the snap, drops to throw. Plenty of time again across the middle. It's complete to Baldwin. He got back to the original line of scrimmage at the 46. A pickup of 4. It'll bring up third down and 10 for the Wolverines. You'd like to see him at least get 5 on this third down play. And Coach Harbaugh, Coach Gaddis, they're not afraid to go for it in this part of the field.
Yeah, this is a no-man's zone. Way, way, way too far to kick the field goal. But a punt wouldn't even be that great because with the leg we could expect, it would likely go in the end zone. So you are right that this could be a 4-down territory.
6:20 to go in the second quarter. Haskins is the back to the right of McNamara, now shifts to the left. 5 seconds on the play clock, now back to the right side for Haskins. McNamara will hand off Haskins to the left side. He had some space, but a shoestring tackle is made for the Terrapins. Okwanu made the stop for Maryland.
And that's tough because he would have had the first
5.
down. He did get 5, and he's lucky to get 5, but literally a foot or two, a step or two more, he would be with the first down and then some. He had the whole field open. But the offense is on the field, so you did call it. This is on the 41-yard line, 40-and-a-half-yard line. You can't really kick it, and you can't really punt it, so you might as well go for it.
They split receivers to each side, including Eric Allies in the near slot. Haskins in motion to the right side. McNamara will throw. Pressure coming. Looks across the middle, and it's incomplete.
Wait, are they saying he brought it in? They're saying
they are giving A.J. Henning the
in.
catch, but it's going to be short of the first down by 2 yards.
Wow, so diving catch by Henning to get under it, it just wasn't enough. Because the original pass would have been a first down, but he was unable to haul it in. Went up in the air. Henning, I guess, padding his stats a little bit, but nonetheless, it did save Maryland or Michigan 4 yards or so, though, because now they'll start on the 34 instead of the 40, 35 instead of the 40.
I'll tell you what, there's been a couple of passes today from McNamara that have come really close to hitting his receivers in the chest, and they've just bounced up into the air, or they've been deflected at the line of scrimmage. We saw one in the red zone on the far side of the field where Roman Wilson had the opportunity to make a catch. However, McNamara hit the helmet of his own offensive lineman. A couple times we've seen Johnson now, and now it was Eric All that had the ball bounce off his chest plate.
McNamara still statistically has a pretty phenomenal afternoon. He's 10 for 15, so even with those deflections, not really hurting his completion percentage too much. 82 yards and a passing touchdown. His QB rating, 134. So very good. In the NFL, that would probably give him one of those have-a-day posts on the NFL Instagram. But one thing of note, it is 4:45 Eastern time here in Maryland, and the sun is essentially set. I'm not ready for this. Compared to Michigan, since we're so much further east here in College Park, it is the sun sets a lot sooner than it had than I'd expected, and especially with daylight savings time ended. So we got the lights on out, kind of a mini under the lights game here with the 3:30 kickoff. Yeah. So second half.
Yeah, Maryland will have the football from the 38-yard line after scoring 3 points in a fantastic drive their last time out. Officially, that last drive for Maryland, 17 plays, 68 yards, took 6 minutes and 30 seconds off the clock, and only resulted in 3 points. So we talked about it right after their last drive. It was kind of like Michigan. You can't settle for 3, especially when you get that deep inside the red zone. And I'm sure Aiden Hutchinson, Josh Ross, the Michigan captains on the defensive side of the football, probably brought that group together. And they're like, hey, we got to get a stop like we did in the first quarter and then get our offense back on the field with the chance for some points.
Yeah, so they got the point, so they had something to show for it, unlike that very first drive of the game for Maryland. But you'd like to have 7 rather than 3, especially with the way they were moving the ball and how close they got to the end zone.
Maryland's offense on the field, 5:22 to go here in the second quarter. Tunga Vailoa drops the pass, looking for a screen. It's complete to Fleet Davis. He gets to the 40-yard line, and he's torn down by Junior Colson at the 42. Now the referee on the near side moves the ball backwards to the 40, so instead of a 4-yard gain, it's only 2. Second down and 8 for the Terps. Tunga Vailoa in the shotgun. Fleet Davis to his left. He hands off to Fleet Davis right up the middle. He tries the Michigan Monsters inside. Colson and Smith made the stop for the Wolverines. That'll bring up 3rd and 5. Already a more promising defensive drive for the Wolverines, rather than the last one where the Terps scored 3 points. Empty in the backfield is Tungavailoa. 5 receivers, 3 to the left, 2 to the right. Fleet Davis, the running back, as on the far sideline. Michigan shows blitz. Tungavailoa gets the snap, drops the throw, looking, now steps up. He's going to run, and now he'll float it down the sideline, but it's incomplete.
He had an
missed
open
a couple
man.
of easy passes here in the first and second quarters. The captain, Brian Cobbs, was the intended receiver there.
10 for 18 on the day. So not looking too good statistically, and they're going to have to bring out the punt team. He had a man open, and he rolled out. He fooled Michigan's defense, evaded the blitz, and just couldn't finish.
You said 10 of 18. You figure he'd be about 14 of 18 with the throws that he's tried to make.
Including a touchdown.
Yeah,
it would be a 7-point game now.
The righty, Pecorella, punts it away, but it's knocked down. Michigan blocked it, and the Terps jump on top of it. However, the Wolverines are going to have the ball in incredible field position. Matt Torrey got the block for the Wolverines on the righty punter from the Terps.
Huge special teams play. You love to see that. Anytime you can maybe squeeze some field position. That was a gutsy play. If he were a second or two later, he probably would have gotten dinged for roughing the punter. But it worked out for them, and now Michigan will take it on the 42-yard line for Maryland.
Interestingly enough, for the Terrapins, they showcased 2 different punters, a righty and a lefty. Anthony Pecorella is the righty. He had that last one blocked. The other is Colton Spengler. Michigan on offense. They'll begin at the 42-yard line in plus territory. McCarthy is the quarterback with Edwards to his left. Standing at the Maryland logo, looks to the left side, complete on a screen to Wilson. Spins away from one tackler, and then he's blown dead at the 42. He got nowhere. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Bennett made the stop for the Terrapins. 4:05 to go in the second quarter. Michigan leads it 14-3 here in College Park.
And you see the students continue to file on out. The student section's almost empty. This is like what it looks like in Ann Arbor in the fourth quarter. And we still got another half and some change.
McCarthy sends Edwards in motion. Now he keeps to the left side. It was a good quarterback draw, and JJ gets past the 30-yard line, dives to the 28, and that's where he's pushed out of bounds. That's a good play call from Josh Gaddis. First down for the Wolverines.
Yeah, I mentioned this earlier in the season that I feel like Michigan shows their hand too often when they put JJ in because they rely on the run so much. But since I said that like week 5 against Wisconsin, they've built in more of a passing game too, so they can't really rely on that, the defenses, anymore.
Mosley pushed him out of bounds on the last play for Maryland. McCarthy fakes the handoff to Edwards, looks to the left side. The pass is complete to Johnson at the 15, turns his legs to the 13-yard line, and that's where he's taken down.
This is what you like to see. He's mixing in some passing plays. I think even he would admit his greatest strength is on his feet. But being able to pass it not only gets the ball moving, but it gets the defense fooled, and they can't rely on you running it or handing it off.
Michigan quick to the line. McCarthy in the shotgun. Edwards to his left. JJ will drop to throw, looking towards the end zone for Sainristil. He brought it down with one hand. Touchdown, Michigan. What a catch from number 5.
That is Odell Beckham Jr.-esque. You'll be seeing that on Sports Center. He laid out, grabbed it with one hand, brought it on in, and Michigan quickly takes a 20-3 lead in this game.
JJ put it in a spot that only Mikey Sainristil could come down with it. And wow, did Sainristil just make a fantastic Sports Center catch. Hang a star on that one for number 5.
I feel like I could hear the da-da-da, da-da-da playing in the stadium after that one. You'll be seeing that all weekend.
Second touchdown of the season for Mike Sainristil. Jake Moody on to attempt the extra point to make it a 21-3 game. The play is now official as the snap is down from Robbins' kick up, and it's good. Wolverines lead 21-3.
A fan in the student section is going to go home with a souvenir. He does throw it back, however, so I guess he won't. If this were Michigan, he'd hide it and then hope to keep it, but guess they do not want the opponent's football, especially in this blowout game. This stadium right now has to be at least 80% Wolverine fans, and that's like a low ball estimate.
And I'll tell you what, Adam, I was here in 2019 as well to work in the broadcast booth at Jim Brandstatter, and it was very similar to this. However, it was less full of Michigan fans. There was a paint of maize and blue across the far side that we're looking at right now. We're looking at the same visual that you would have if you were watching on TV, with the Maryland logo looking like an M. And it was less full with Michigan fans last time that we were here. So they traveled, and they traveled big time for the Wolverines. There's at least 4 or 5 sections in the lower bowl that are full of maize and blue.
Yeah, and unlike the Maryland fans who are slowly filing on out, Michigan is staying in, and if anything, they're packing in more. They want to see a glimpse of this team that has a potential to be something really special. I want to knock on wood right now, and I'm going to knock really loudly so maybe you could hear it over the radio so I don't jinx them. But assuming this result holds, you got to think Pasadena is in the picture, potentially even if Michigan loses next week.
I think nonetheless, Adam, what we're talking about will be a New Year's Six Bowl, as you mentioned, if they're able to hold off the Terrapins here in College Park. And there's still a lot of football to play. 2:51 to go and a 21-3 lead. There's a lot of football left. However, you'd think the New Year's Six Bowl would be in the back pocket if they were successful in victory today.
And that is almost the worst-case scenario. We'll talk about this more at halftime. There's 2:51 remaining. But assuming Michigan hangs on, even if they get blown out by Ohio State, I can't imagine they'll be lower than Michigan State. And then Ohio State would go to the CFP potentially, leaving Michigan the spot. The highest-ranked Big Ten team would have an automatic bid in the Rose Bowl. I'm sure the TV executives would love that. Michigan really brings in the audience.
This is their first appearance in the Rose Bowl in quite some time.
We'll talk about that later, though, as
That'll
Michigan looks to kick it off. Yeah, I got a lot of thoughts on that. 21-3 as they kick it off into the end zone. Yeah, Maryland just lets it go off, taking it from the 25 for a touchback.
Antoine Littleton says no thank you, and the Terps offense will take the field. A little over the 2-minute drill for the Terrapins and Tungo Vailoa.
Do you think they'll be able to pull it off? They got all 3 timeouts at the moment, so certainly has time to work with. It's more about whether they can string together enough plays to keep the ball moving and potentially keep it out of Michigan's hands once again.
Well, Tunga Vailoa on the first play will hand off to McDonald, and he is ripped down immediately by Aiden Hutchinson at the line of scrimmage.
Hutchinson is everywhere. He's blitzing the quarterback, getting him to be pressured, and then out of nowhere he dives and gets a ball carrier down for a loss of 1.
2:30 to go in the half. Michigan 21-3 advantage over the Terps. Tunga Vailoa gets the snap. He'll drop to throw. Stepping up in the pocket, throws across the middle. This one's complete. And he's taken down immediately. Ty Felton on the reception, his first of the day. It's a gain of 3 for Maryland, 3rd down and 7. The Wolverines defense has a chance to get them off the field and potentially give their offense another opportunity to score before halftime. Fleet Davis is the running back. He's to the left hip of Tunga Vailoa. 3 receivers to the right side, 1 tight end to the left. Michigan shows blitz from 2 linebackers. Now they back off. Tunga Vailoa gets a snap, stepping up, and he's going to be sacked down. Vince Gray, the cornerback, came through for his first sack of the year.
And it looks like the ball almost popped out, so Maryland's lucky to hang on to possession.
Michigan will use a timeout almost immediately with 1:49 to go in the first half. A loss of 7 on that last play. 4th and 14 for Maryland, and A.J. Henning will have a chance to return it for the Wolverines after the short break.
And they'll line up with good field position regardless. Unless it's a Pat McAfee punt, it's going to be brought into the 40-yard line or so for Michigan. And assuming a return from Henning, they could bring it potentially onto Maryland's territory with 1:49 left and a timeout. So Maryland had, I guess they were looking to, goal 1 was to get points on the board, but goal 2 was at least burn enough clock so Michigan couldn't get points of their own, and they were unable to achieve either of that.
I want to throw it back to the last offensive drive for the Wolverines, which resulted in a 4-play, 42-yard touchdown drive that only took a minute and a half off the clock. But the Wolverines got help from the special teams. Matt Torrey blocking a punt off Pecorella. And J.J. McCarthy's touchdown pass to Mike Sainristil that we'll certainly see plenty of times within the next 24 hours. And like you mentioned, maybe throughout the rest of the week.
I'm jealous that I'm not at home. I can't pull up the Instagram feed of that. But they're doing the kiss cam here. A couple of the Maryland students who are left having some fun on that on the Jumbotron. I guess that's more fun than the game right now.
For them, at least.
Yeah. For Michigan fans,
maybe not the 10,000 Michigan fans that are on the opposite side of the stadium here at Capital One Field.
It's almost tough to see any red on the other side. That's how, because any Maryland fans about left. And here in College Park, it's a beautiful but kind of nippy evening. 45 degrees at kickoff. Probably a little bit cooler now as the sun's beginning to set.
Hey, you're still right at it, 45 degrees.
Wow, human thermometer is what they call me.
Well, I guess here's your chance for a prediction, because we'll have the same amount of listeners for the Ohio State game next week. What's your prediction for the weather? We're 7 days out. You can't cheat.
I know. I know in this rivalry, everyone's going to want it to be snowy and windy, but it's going to be a sunny, not a cloud in the sky, but a cold 33 degrees. That's what I'm calling. Lock it in now. Hold me accountable.
November afternoon is what you're going for.
Brisk November. I'm hoping it'll be snowy as a Michigan fan, because that probably benefits them. Wind would absolutely help limit that Buckeyes passing game. But I know in this rivalry it'll be a brisk November evening, or afternoon rather.
Maryland brings a couple of guys in motion. This is the lefty, Colton Spangler, kicking it away. A.J. Henning is back to return. He fumbled the football, and I think Maryland's got it.
That's the last thing you want to do.
No,
They're
the
saying
Wolverines
Michigan
do have it.
will
A.J.
bring
Henning
it
got
in.
back on top of it. It looked like Maryland had the first jump at it. Damian Robinson was the Terp down there that almost got a hand on the football, and he didn't give A.J. Henning a lot of room to operate. And A.J. did, in fact, jump back on top of it. The scoreboard here at the near end is brand new. That was put in right before week 3 against Iowa. Fully operational, and it is a beauty. That's a wonderful scoreboard that they have up there.
Yeah, it's huge. It's almost bigger than the one they have at nearby FedEx Field just down the road in Landover.
McNamara, the quarterback, in the shotgun for the Wolverines. Edwards, the running back. McNamara drops the throw, finds Edwards out of the backfield, and he's out of bounds at the 39-yard line.
So Michigan doing the same game plan they had against Penn State, conserve the clock, slowly chip away at the defense, and play-by-play move the ball down the field. And unlike last game, they're playing from much ahead, but points are points, and they'd like to score at least a field goal on this drive.
McNamara with the same, running back Edwards to his right hip. Claps his hands, he gets a snap, dropping the throw. Got a lot of time, he finds Edwards again, and he's chopped down but no whistle. And now they'll blow it. So I think they assume that Edwards was down at the 45-yard line. The Wolverines will have 2 yards to go on third down with 1:20 and ticking.
Unable to get the first down and stop the clock.
Hand off Edwards up the middle. Now he breaks it to the left side. There's a flag down. Eric All, I think, is going to be called for holding here. And that'll back up the Wolverines on third down. He got the first.
So it would have stopped the clock, too, at least momentarily. But I guess the penalty also stops the clock.
Momentarily.
Yeah, so
that is Eric All.
You did call it right on the money with the holding, and now it's going to be from 3rd and 1 to 3rd and 16 possibly. And that is a little bit less. It's going to be 3rd and 9, or 3rd and 11, so a 10-yard penalty. But a much tougher ask than it was before.
And now Haskins is the back for Michigan. A bunch receiver set to the left. Schoonmaker is the lone receiver to the right. McNamara gets a snap, steps back to his own 30-yard line with plenty of time to throw. Still looking, steps back up in the pocket. McNamara can still have time. He completes to his receiver, Baldwin, for a first down inside Terps territory, and that's where he's brought down at the 48-yard line.
He had all day to make that pass, and Maryland just couldn't apply any pressure whatsoever.
1 minute to go in the half. McNamara quickly to the line. Plenty of time to throw again. He tried to dump it away to Haskins, but the pass is incomplete. So for now, that'll stop the clock.
Probably for the best. Yeah, stops the clock, and it would have been a loss of several yards if he brought it in. So Haskins with a smart move to kind of knock it down. Michigan barely in Maryland's territory. They're on the 49-yard line with a stop clock, 1 timeout, 55 seconds in the second quarter. Looking to, if not get a touchdown, at least advance at 20 yards to get in Moody's field goal range.
McNamara in the shotgun again with an empty set. Looks across the middle. It's complete. Schoonmaker trying to get that first down. He's just shy of it to the 40.
It'll keep the clock moving, unfortunately, but they quickly line up.
3rd and 1 for the Wolverines with a tight set. McNamara will sneak it right up the middle. He's got the first down. And a great push from Donovan Edwards. They got 4 yards on the sneak. It'll be first down for the Wolverines at the 37.
With 37 seconds, go figure, left, clock finally starts ticking.
The wind would be helping Jake Moody if he were out on the field right now. McNamara across the middle's got it complete to Edwards. He may have the first down. It's real close. And the chains weren't even set up yet. Timeout Michigan. They'll take their 3rd and final with 25 seconds to go.
That's curious that they took it now. They didn't even wait to see if it'll be a first down. And it'll be a timeout once again. So now they possibly can't stop the clock to set up the field goal later in this quarter.
So the Wolverines will have 2nd down and about half a yard. However, limping off the field on that last play was middle linebacker Ruben Hippolyte, one of the leaders on the defense for the Terrapins. And if he were to be hurt, you never root for injury. However, the Wolverines would have been able to save their timeout if they had to have noticed that.
Yeah. And so they not only did they almost have the first down, let's see what they call it as. They're going to say 2nd and inches. So they wouldn't have gotten the stop clock there, but they would have gotten the injury timeout. The play is under further review, however.
So Michigan could potentially get their timeout back if they were to give Donovan Edwards the first down. With 25 seconds to go, Michigan currently leads 21-3 with halftime nearing here in College Park.
What's your gut call on that? Do you think it was a first down?
I think they're going to keep them short, especially because the chains were so slow to get set. The referees, you're usually supposed to wait for the chains to be completely set, especially in college football. And the marker at 10 yards away from where the line of scrimmage wasn't even on the ground until Edwards had hit the ground during the play.
Yeah, Michigan with that hurry-up offense with the running clock, just trying to keep the ball moving and advancing the chains so quickly the chains couldn't even set itself up. A lot on the line for Maryland, too. I know we're coming at from a Michigan perspective, but they have a 5-5 record right now. So although if the score holds, they won't win this one, but a 6 win could be enough for a bowl game. I believe they play Rutgers. It's like their de facto rivalry game. The Big Ten trying to make that into something for them as the 2 newest members of the Big Ten Conference. Fortunately for the Terrapins, the Scarlet Knights are not very good this season, and they could very well bring in that 5th or 6th win, rather, and qualify for a bowl.
Let me set up the drama for you, Adam.
Yeah.
Both teams heading into Piscataway next weekend, 5-6.
Well, you're assuming Maryland doesn't come back this afternoon, but yeah.
I don't want to get ahead of myself, of course. 21-3 Michigan lead. The referees, after review, will keep it at 2nd down and about half a yard to go. Not even half a yard. Inches, as you mentioned.
Inches, yeah.
If Michigan does hold on, 5-6 Rutgers, hosting 5-6 Maryland, the winner goes to a bowl game.
Probably one of the bad Big Ten ones, like the Pinstripe Bowl or the Quick Lane Bowl. Is that Big Ten?
That is Big Ten at Ford Field.
What about the new Fenway Bowl? I think that has a Big Ten tie-in. So potentially could see one of those bad ones, but a bowl's a bowl.
Hey, a bowl is a bowl. I don't think there's a bad bowl.
The Gasparilla Bowl's pretty bad. Bahama Bowl is pretty bad. The Boise Bowl.
Hey, you get to go to the Bahamas.
Who wants to go to Boise in December? That's not a good bowl. The famous Potato Idaho Bowl or whatever. Josh Allen went a couple years back when he was in college, and he actually won that. So some big names have played in there, but a bowl's a bowl. Luckily for Michigan, they will be going to a pretty prestigious one, regardless of how the next two games shape up.
You'd hope it's either the Orange Bowl or the Cotton Bowl.
I've heard some talk about the Rose or Peach, but we'll get into that at halftime.
I only say Cotton and Orange because those are the College Football Playoff Bowls.
Yep.
McNamara will throw for the Wolverines on second down and a half a yard. It's complete to Edwards down to the 10-yard line, and he's spun down at the 9.
Clock stops momentarily, 19 seconds.
Look at the Wolverines are straight up to the ball. McNamara's going to spike it, and down goes the football at the 9-yard line. Bennett made the stop on Edwards. He was one tackle away from going to the house for his first touchdown since the Northern Illinois game.
Yeah. So I'm curious, you have the ESPN predictions up. What's it at for next week? Who do they have for the Rutgers and Terrapins?
65% currently is on Rutgers right now.
Wow. Going to be a good one in Piscataway.
3 receivers to the left side for the Wolverines. McNamara in the shotgun. He's got to get the ball off quick. Throws to Edwards at the 6, and he's run out of bounds.
So it's going to be third
down.
and 6.
They'll have to throw it to the end zone. McNamara just can't take a sack because points are on the table right now for the Wolverines.
Yeah, so it's either going to be a chip-in shot for Moody or a touchdown here on either play.
And I kind of like this decision for the Wolverines to bring in Hassan Haskins. We saw the decleater block that he gave Penn State last week. He's a fantastic blocking running back. And now for the Wolverines, you just don't turn the ball over. Don't take a sack. Throw it to the end zone. See what you can make happen. McNamara will drop the throw. Pressure coming from Maryland. To the corner of the end zone for Wilson. Touchdown, Michigan! Wilson went up to get it. And with 8 seconds to go in the half, Roman Wilson has his 3rd touchdown in the last 2 weeks.
Well, I called it earlier. I called it for the other drive, but I did say flag on the play, however.
And it was really late.
I'm curious whether it'll be a hold on Michigan. That is where it is in the backfield. Bit of a powwow between the Zebras. I'm curious. They're taking a while to discuss this.
It's a shot block.
Oh, wow. That's critical because not only will it take time off the clock, it'll move Michigan back and potentially make this field goal less assured than it looked like it was. Wow, that is, that's not good to say the least for Michigan.
With 8 seconds left, what do you do now if you're Michigan?
It's going to be 3rd and goal from the 20-yard line. Is that it? Going to be 3rd and goal for Long. You still have time to take a shot. It's just not much room for error. It's going to be the 21-yard line. That is
Michigan's
terrible
going to bring
for
the field goal
Wolverines.
team on.
Wow.
This will be a 38-yarder for Jake Moody.
So that's a 4-point swing right there on that shot block. But that was a beautiful catch from Roman Wilson. A shame it won't count in the box score. Yeah.
Moody's 11 for 11 from 30 to 39 yards out this season. This is a 38-yarder from the right hash, and Loxley will take a timeout for Maryland. And the kick for Moody is up, and it was good.
Maybe some icing situation right here, but I imagine.
Now, do we see another Michigan State situation where Coach Mike Loxley will take all 3 timeouts and make Moody kick it every single time like Mel Tucker did at halftime?
Possibly, but I think that was a Mel Tucker special in a rivalry game. I doubt it would happen. At that point, you're just keeping your own fans out in the cold a little bit longer. Curious to see if Michigan maybe changes the game plan, possibly with the timeout. They still have the kicker on the field, but potentially they could use that timeout to bring in still 8 seconds left, so not unheard of to get maybe one shot at the end zone left, but keeping the kicker out there on the 29-yard line, so it'll be a 39-yard kick.
Moody from the right hash. Robbins kneeling at the 29-yard line. Snap down, kick up, and it is good. So with 4 seconds to go in the first half, Michigan takes a 24-3 lead over the Maryland Terrapins here in College Park. And you would have loved to see the score be 28-3. A beautiful pitch and catch from McNamara to Wilson that was taken back by a chop block.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but it happens. And at least Michigan was able to salvage some points on that drive. It was looking like earlier they wouldn't have been able to even get any points because it was 3rd and long, and that big pickup pass was able to keep the chains moving and give a new set of downs. And Michigan, even if they weren't able to capitalize with a touchdown, they did get that field goal.
So Michigan, just for the heck of it now, will kick off the ball. That'll send Antoine Littleton II deep to return for Maryland.
So we have one comment on YouTube from a Michigan fan in Boise. I do apologize. I hear the city's booming with a lot of people working from home out there, and I hear great things. Just not exactly my choice of a destination in December when Hawaii and the Bahamas are on the table too.
You just made fun of the Bahamas Bowl.
I did, yeah.
Moody's
it's more
kicked
about
us
the
into the
sponsor, yeah. But
See,
a bowl's a bowl
I personally
game.
would love to spend a week or so in the Bahamas. I work for the football team, so I got to be there for practices, and it'd be nice to sweat because of the heat for once instead of just being all bundled up. It snowed on Thursday. We practiced in the snow.
Yeah, a little bit of snow's nice, but too much isn't very fun. It is that time of year, though, where it's like the weather, it could be anything. It could be 60 one day. It could be snowing the next. We saw that earlier this week in Ann Arbor.
Maryland's Talia Tungavailoa will take a knee, and that'll end the first half with the score Michigan 24, Maryland 3. And the Wolverines get a big standing O on the opposing sideline, where the Michigan faithful are currently rooting on their Wolverines to a potential Big Ten East showdown with the Ohio State Buckeyes next Saturday in Ann Arbor. For all the marbles, Adam, and like you said, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the College Football Playoff and all the implications that it'll have on the bowl season. So let's do a quick halftime recap.
Sure thing.
Of this first half. Take a little break. We'll talk about bowl stuff.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back for the second half. So let's start with today's game. It started slow for the Wolverines. A 3-and-out on their first drive. Maryland looked like they were going to have a lot of success on the offensive side of the ball. 2 drives specifically. They only came away with 3 points, though.
Yeah, Maryland had 2 attempts on field goals, 1 for 2. But 1 possession in the red zone, but several self-inflicted wounds prevented Maryland from getting 7, both in terms of missed passes from the quarterback and penalties at the line, eventually backing them back out of the field, out of the red zone even. So Maryland is lucky to have those 3 points on that drive, but it was sloppy play from them. It wasn't Michigan stopping them. It was just Maryland being unable to execute.
And there was a couple of throws here and there that Talia Tungavailoa should have had for Maryland. At halftime, his stats looked like 11 for 19 for 87 yards. That's only 58% completion percentage. He should have had 3 or 4 passes that should have gone for 20-plus yards or touchdowns. And I'll tell you what, you go to the game in Ann Arbor next weekend, you're not going to see that quarterback miss a throw.
Unless it's
Stroud,
windy.
Unless it's windy and snowy, like, our fingers are crossed for it to be. In terms of your case, because I just don't want you to be right on your weather prediction. However, Tungavailoa's just got to hit those passes, and this game is a lot closer than 24-3 at halftime.
Wow, look at that. The student section almost completely empty. It's unfortunate. Even in a blowout like this, you still want to see students stay faithful.
Especially on senior day.
On senior night, too. It is an evening now, so I'm sure some students are fraternizing at outside of the stadium, but Even in Michigan blowouts, fortunately Michigan hasn't had a home blowout or even a home loss so far this season. But even then, Michigan students stay at least until halftime, or at least until they play Mr. Brightside.
Well, the issue next week, too, is Ohio State fans historically have come to Michigan Stadium and made their presence known. And with it being Thanksgiving week every year, so many students go home for the break. But let's quickly do the halftime recap with Maryland, too. With rushing the ball, they're very I'd say single-faceted is the best way to put it for Maryland. McDonald has 8 attempts for 32 yards, and their star running back, you say star, Tayon Fleet-Davis has 2 carries for 17 yards. You have to ask the question, why hasn't he gotten more carries?
Yeah, you do. And for Maryland, I'm wondering if Michigan's defensive line has any factors into that. Just how strong it's one side you got Ojabo, other side you got Hutchinson, sometimes Ross pumping up the middle. That alone prevents the rushing game from bringing much traction, but it does raise the question why the limited attempts even.
Chigoziem Okonkwo has 3 receptions for 31 yards, and they all came on that long drive for Maryland that only resulted in 3 points. Now you flip it to Michigan's side. McNamara has been wonderful. 17 of 23, 1 touchdown, should have 2, and 143 yards passing. It seems like he's been doing almost everything right as the Wolverines quarterback.
Yeah, he has a couple of incompletions, but I feel like those weren't even his fault necessarily. They were either tipped at the line, could be blamed on the quarterback occasionally, or otherwise dropped passes. But even so, his completion percentage is 74% right now, passer rating of 140. This is what you like to see. He's not reeling in a ton of yards, but 143 at halftime's not nothing.
We had the feeling that we'd see a lot of Hassan Haskins. No Blake Corum so far today. He did suit up. He did practice this week, and he did warm up for this game. However, he's not been handed his helmet on the sideline. And if the score continues on like this, you kind of hope that you wouldn't see Blake Corum for the rest of the game. However, Hassan Haskins, 15 carries, 67 yards, and a touchdown. H2 continues to churn his legs and get the job done for the Wolverines. And then on the receiving end, how about your PPR running back? Donovan Edwards, 8 receptions, 64 yards. Cornelius Johnson leading the wide receivers with 4 receptions, 39 yards. 2 touchdown passes. Schoonmaker and Sainristil. The Wolverines just have done it on all facets in the first half when it comes to spreading the wealth on the offensive end.
Yeah. On defensive end for Michigan, they're losing a lot of guys next season. And I hate to talk about that because we still have at least 2, potentially 4 more games left. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but that's the maximum. But Michigan, they're losing some guys on defense. They're losing Ross. They're losing Ojabo. They're losing Hutchinson.
You're assuming Ojabo goes to the draft.
Oh, I would. Recent mock drafts have him top 10. I would imagine he declares. Would imagine Daxton Hill declares. I know Josh Ross is going to declare after not doing it last year and having such a great season. So the defense is losing a lot of guys. But fortunately on offense, not quite so. I think, is Haskins going to be the only one who might declare? Because I know Corum has one more
that
year.
They will lose for sure is Andrew Vastardis, and they could also lose Ryan Hayes at the left tackle.
Yeah, so a couple on the line.
And Luke Schoonmaker.
Yeah, but in terms of the skill position, they're keeping all. They're keeping Corum, keeping Edwards, keeping Roman Wilson.
Henning, Sainristil, Johnson, Anthony, Corum, Edwards.
Yeah,
spread your wealth.
And both quarterbacks, too, assuming neither transfer. But that would be very interesting if both come back and Michigan potentially works into maybe a 2-quarterback package like we saw with Brady and Hinson back in the late 90s. You know how that turned out for
I had
Michigan.
a long conversation with Amer before today that you somehow would fit Tom Brady into the broadcast.
You know me too well. Too well. And we were wondering if Brady might be the guest, assuming College game day comes to Ann Arbor next week. Maybe he's a guest picker. He's playing in Indiana the next day. You could maybe see him drive up on Saturday.
I wonder who he'd pick.
Who he'd pick in that game, I think I could tell you.
Michigan outgains the Terrapins at halftime, 263-126. Penalties playing a big factor for Maryland, though. 5 penalties for 42 yards, and they haven't been great on third down, only 2 for 8. The score is Michigan 24, Maryland 3. We'll take a couple minutes of break before we come back and we talk about bowl season.
Bowl season, I'm excited already.
It'll
I
be a
know
good
it's still
conversation.
November, but I feel December knocking on in.
Again, the score, Michigan 24-3. You're listening to WCBN FM, Ann Arbor.
Hello, welcome back to WCBN Radio's coverage of the Michigan University of Maryland football game. It is halftime and Michigan leads 24-3 at the moment as they go to the locker room and prepare for the second half of gameplay. Adam Bressler joined by Zachary Linfield. Got a good combo here. We'll be joining you next week as well. with the same play-by-play color structure, so I'm looking forward to that one. But we'll dive into that and some more. We already recapped the game, but for those just tuning in, Michigan started off slow but found their groove and was able to get 3 touchdowns plus a field goal late in the second quarter, while Maryland had a couple of fruitful drives but was only able to capitalize on one of them. And on that, they got a field goal when they probably could have gotten away with a touchdown if one of several plays had gone differently.
Yeah, and of course, the highlight of the half was the touchdown pass from McNamara to Sainers, or excuse me, that was McCarthy to Sainers for the touchdown pass. But Cade McNamara does have 1 touchdown toss to Luke Schoonmaker. That was a 2-yard score, and the first of the afternoon for the Wolverines. But we're here to talk about bowl season, as the halftime show is 6 minutes and 30 seconds show on the big scoreboard here at our left end.
So I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but for the sake of this discussion, let's presume the current score holds or the current result occurs. So assuming Michigan...
Well, we can also talk about it both ways
Both
as well.
ways, we can. But if Michigan wins this, they'll be 10-1 going into the Ohio State game. Third time they will go in under Jim Harbaugh with only 1 loss. And then Maryland will be 5-6. Let's start with Maryland being 5-6. So that's right on the cusp of bowl eligibility. They are 2-6. Assuming they lose, they will be 2-6 in the Big Ten. But you just need 6 wins to qualify. And assuming they don't win this one, they'd have to beat Rutgers next week.
Yeah, and there's an issue right now with Jerry Palm's CBS projections for bowl season, and it's, like we said, assuming the score holds and Michigan is able to come away with this football game, they have Maryland and Rutgers both in the projections, and that can't happen. Both teams are 5-6. You have to have 6 wins to make it in the bowl season.
But
and Maryland,
a couple of five-win teams squeak
you've
their
got to
way
be lucky.
in. If you're a Power 5-win team, you could occasionally get on in. But you're right. It's generally 6 wins and you're in. There's a glut of college football bowls. So there's a lot of open spots, and they just keep expanding. I believe this year's the first year they have the Fenway Bowl up and running in Fenway in Massachusetts. I believe the Las Vegas Bowl as well, and the LA Bowl and the new SoFi Stadium are a couple of new ones. And
by the way, you were asking earlier about the tie-in about Fenway. It's the ACC against the American Conference.
Okay.
So there's your tie-ins. However, Maryland is currently projected in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl against a tough Texas Tech team.
And that's from Phoenix, is that right?
And that'll be in Phoenix.
Oh,
and
wow.
like I mentioned, they also have Rutgers in these projections at the Cure Bowl, which is in Orlando against Kent State.
Yeah.
So, like we said, if the score does hold, one of those 2 teams, Rutgers already lost today. They're at 5-6. They're playing for one more game. One more game for the seniors, one more game for the potential staff. I don't think Greg Schiano's going to go anywhere. But you could argue that Mike Loxley's on the hot seat here in Maryland as well. So it's a big game next week with certain implications for Maryland and Rutgers.
Yeah, and Piscataway too, so it'll be a home crowd for Rutgers. But it's just like Michigan, it'll be a win and go on for an extra game. For Rutgers and Maryland, the extra game will be a bowl. For Michigan and Ohio State, the extra game will be the Big Ten Championship in Indianapolis. So let's move on to Michigan. So assuming they win today, they'll be 10-1. Am I wrong to say the floor for them is the Rose Bowl? Even if they get blown out by Ohio State next week, presumably they will have a higher ranking than Michigan State, because Michigan State is going to fall after this week. And even right now, Michigan is ranked higher. Michigan's number 6 and Michigan State's 7.
And certainly I don't like to make stipulations about what will happen. Michigan will win next week, or Michigan, according to the history, I think they're going to lose. I'm not going to say anything like that. However, like you said, if they do drop that game to Ohio State, I would hope that the Rose Bowl would be the floor for Michigan. So if we're talking about the Rose Bowl being the floor, that's really good. And then Michigan has the Orange Bowl or the Cotton Bowl to potentially look forward to in the college football playoff.
I think the Cotton would be where they would go, because they're not going to be the 4 seed. If they squeeze in, The only path for them in the CFP is beating Ohio State and then beating Wisconsin in Indianapolis. If they beat those, you got to think they're the 2 or 3 seed at least. They're not going to be the 4
hold on now.
nationally.
Wisconsin's got a win today against Nebraska. They're currently tied
Oh, wow.
in Madison. So, hey, Nebraska at some point they have to finish a game, right?
Yeah.
You'd figure at some point the Cornhuskers will come away with one. They're finally showing scores on the scoreboard. Penn State on their senior day won 28-0 over Rutgers. They have a chance to go to East Lansing next week and spoil MSU senior day. But back to bowl stuff, the projection is right now Michigan against Oregon, and I kind of see a small issue with this. Kirk Herbstreit and Reese Davis were talking about this on the College Football Playoff show on Tuesday, and that was that 4th spot is currently the placeholder for the Big Ten champion, not including the West. So Michigan State, Michigan, and Ohio State were the 3 teams with possibilities in that spot.
But now Michigan State,
State's
they're eliminated
themselves.
Yeah.
So now it's Michigan or Ohio State.
It's a simple win and go on next week in the game.
Exactly. But obviously you have to win the Big Ten championship
Yeah.
game. That was them booking on the East champion beating the West champion. But Michigan
Why would it be the
Oregon,
4 seed, though? I think it would be higher.
You'd think so,
possibly.
especially with Oregon being in the projection against the Wolverines. Oregon's currently ranked 3rd.
Yeah.
And they have a big game tonight against Utah. This is the biggest challenge left for Oregon.
If Cincinnati gets in, they're going to be the 4 seed, you would expect.
You would expect, yeah.
You wouldn't expect Cincinnati being the first ever non-Power 5 team to make it.
And you also have to assume, too, you don't even have to assume, one of Georgia or Alabama is going to lose one more game.
Yeah.
They have to because they'll play each other.
Exactly.
And they'll both be in the playoff, assuming they
I
win
could
out.
see Alabama not if they lose. If they have
It'd have
2
to be
losses.
a pretty convincing loss.
Yeah, you're right. But I could totally see them.
Because I could see
both
them
making
putting in
it.
a 2-loss Alabama over an undefeated Cincinnati team.
I could absolutely see that as well, assuming I don't know if Oregon's going to lose or not against Utah and whether
the
they're
Pac-12
losing the Pac-12 champion. The team's lining up, and Michigan's got kickoff. But I have one last question. I've seen a couple of projections where Michigan doesn't go to the Rose Bowl, but they go to the Peach Bowl and play Notre Dame. I know ESPN executives are probably salivating over that right now. Any thoughts on that possibility?
Here's what I'll say. I would love to see another Michigan-Notre Dame game. I don't like that they're not playing because I think it's a pretty cool rivalry, all the tradition that goes into Michigan and Notre Dame. But I would be slightly disappointed if the Wolverines didn't land in Pasadena.
Yeah, how funny would that be if Notre Dame, they refuse to play Michigan, but then they face them anyway?
Moody's kickoff will go over the head of the returner, Littleton the second in the end zone, and that's where the Terps offense will start, out there on the 25-yard line. Michigan leads 24-3 over the Terrapins, and Talia Tungavailoa, after a half where he threw 11 of 19 for 87 yards and should have had a touchdown, returns to the field with Tayon Fleet Davis as his running back.
You got to think if, like his brother, does he have an NFL future potentially on the table?
He calls for the snap, hands off to Fleet Davis up the middle. That's a good carry for number 8 on the first play of the drive. It's a gain of 8 right up the middle of the Michigan defense. It'll be 2nd and 2. Junior Colson on the stop for the Wolverines. Tungavailoa, a transfer junior from Iwa Beach, Hawaii. On 2nd down and 2. Gets a snap from his center, Anderson. Hands off to Fleet Davis. He tries the right side. Michigan's defense in hot pursuit, but Fleet Davis spins for the first down. He'll be marked at the 37. Maryland moving from left to right as a first down on their first set of downs.
And this is a better start than they had earlier on some earlier drives. A couple of 3-and-outs already in this game.
5 down linemen for the Terps, 2 wide receivers to the left, a tight end to the right side, including another receiver. Tungavailoa will drop the pass, and it's swatted down. Dax Hill came on a nickelback blitz, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 10. He got his mittens on the ball and knocked it backward.
That's what you like to see from Michigan's defense as well. Even though this game might not have a ton of stakes, you like to see it, treat it almost as a live practice. against a tough opponent before Ohio State.
Tagovailoa dropping to throw, steps up in the pocket. He's almost knocked down by Hinton. Instead, Vince Gray makes a stop, but after a first down, Tagovailoa scrambles for 11. He just took it right up the middle of the Michigan defense. They didn't have a spy on him, and Chris Hinton was the last one to try and get a mitten on him.
Maryland already with 2 first downs with this opening drive.
Tagovailoa fakes the handoff. This is Okonkwo in the flat. Almost being brought down by the Michigan defense. It takes a lot of backups to get to him, and they finally blow the whistle after a gain of 2. Moore officially on the stop for the Wolverines. 2nd and 8 upcoming for the Terps.
Just barely in Michigan's territory at the moment, 49-yard line.
Tagovailoa gets the snap, turns hands off to Fleet Davis. Ojabo's there. We haven't said his name a lot today, but it's a gain of 4 on the play. It'll bring up 3rd down and 4 for Maryland at the plus 45-yard line. Maryland moves left to right, balls at the left hash. Maryland empties the backfield. And here comes the Michigan faithful, all to their feet on the far side of the field. Lots of maize and blue painted across Capital One Field at Maryland Stadium. Tagovailoa rolls out to the left side. It's quarterback design keep, and he doesn't get the first down. It was really close. It will depend on the referee's spot, but I'm pretty sure he's short by a yard.
They're going to potentially be 2 at this point, looking where they're going to spot it.
They must have said he stepped out before he reached the ball forward, but Maryland's offense will stay on the field on 4th and 2.
You got to. They're down right now by 21. Even with a half left to play, to punt it on this opening drive on such a short 4th down would be almost concession.
Referees waiting for Michigan to substitute again. Boone is now the running back for Maryland on 4th and 2. Crowd on their feet for the Wolverines. Handoff, Boone, he's stuffed away. Aiden Hutchinson makes the stop for Michigan.
Add that to his library of tape that he'll be sending to NFL teams. His stock just keeps on rising with each game.
He just got rid of the right tackle, Delmar Glaze, and shot through the offensive line for Maryland, and Michigan will have a first down from the 44-yard line.
Yeah, so another short field. Hearing Michigan fans chant, "Let's go blue," they control this stadium. There's probably less than a couple dozen students here outside the people in the band. Props to the band for staying the whole game, but it seems like all Terrapin fans, including the active students, have gone home already.
Michigan leads the Terrapins of Maryland 24-3. And the Wolverines will get the ball back for their first possession of the second half. On their final possession of the first half, they had a touchdown right in the grip, but a chop block penalty moved the Wolverines back. They ended up having to go with Jake Moody for 3 points.
Yeah,
score 24-3.
That's unfortunate too, because although in this game the difference between 3 and 7 isn't huge, in a closer game you'd like to avoid that. So I guess you'd rather see it now than next week, but it's not good because it also is unfortunate for Roman Wilson's stat line and Cade's stat line too.
Roman Wilson was 1 penalty away from having 3 touchdowns in the past 2 weeks. Talk about a breakout season for Roman Wilson, the kid from the islands in Hawaii, making his presence known for the Wolverines.
Got a fan on the field right now trying to contest from the Maryland Lottery. Actually doing quite decent. He'll be coming home with some money if he keeps this up.
It's essentially one of those arcade games where you throw the football about 5 yards into a small hole.
Yeah, like he should go down to Ocean City or Rehoboth and try out some of these. He could win the big prize.
He's throwing the ball really well.
Maybe Maryland wants to suit him up for the second half.
At this point of the game, why not?
Yeah. So Michigan will take the possession following this media timeout, leading 24-3. and they will take it on their own 44-yard line. So not a ton of field left to go to potentially get in the end zone.
They'll have to march 56 yards to the promised land to expand their lead. It's currently 24-3 in favor of the Wolverines. The Wolverines start with Haskins as the running back.
Here's my question, too. We could talk after this play as well.
In motion comes Henning. McNamara looks for him in the flat, gets a couple of blocks. He's to midfield, cuts it up, and the ball is free, but Haskins jumps back on top of it. A.J. Henning, who dropped a punt earlier and almost lost it for the Wolverines right before halftime, gets lucky that his teammate, who was throwing a good block for him, Hassan Haskins, jumped back onto the football. It's 2nd down and 1. Two tight ends to the right side of the formation for the Wolverines. Two wide receivers also to the right. McNamara hands off. Haskins up the middle, has the first down past the 45 to the 43.
So now that we have a little bit of a pause in play, I'm curious to see whether you think Cade is going to get much time, or excuse me, JJ is going to get much time in this second half now that the outcome is not quite secured, but it's a bit safer. And whether Edwards as well gets some time in the backfield.
Haskins is currently the running back. He gets the call on this one to the 40-yard line, then he's torn down there. And if I'm a coach, I'm saying, give me at least one more score before I put him in for good. Of course, you'd like to give him as much repetition as you can right before a game the stature of next weekend in Ann Arbor. There's an injured player on the field. It's a Terrapin.
Yeah, if the future of the program is J.J. McCarthy, you ideally want to give him as much time as you can this season, because you don't know after this game how much time he'll have left. Because depending on how next week's game go, he might not get too many opportunities. We saw last week in Penn State he did not get a single play in, which was pretty interesting.
For the first time all year, Ami Finau is the injured Terrapin on the field. He's walking off under his own power, a bit gingerly on his left leg, it looks like. Mosiah Nasilikite is Coward on the defensive line, helping him up.
It's going to be 2nd and 7 now for Michigan following this injury timeout.
And it looks like we'll go to a media as well after the injury.
But JJ, he's the future of this program, so you want to get as much opportunities for him to develop this season as you can. It would pay dividends in the future. The same could be said with Edwards, too, especially when Haskins leaves next year. He'll kind of fill that void as a power back, kind of shake and bake along with Corum. But this is an opportunity now because you don't know how much opportunity will present itself next week against Ohio State. Depending on if Michigan wins or lose, you don't know if there'll be spots in the Big Ten championship game or the Rose Bowl or the College Football Playoff or wherever Michigan ends up. But this could potentially be the last time we see JJ this season.
You'd like to see him get quite a bit of time as well. At least the whole fourth quarter. If Michigan's leading by 4 scores, I'd say you're safe to probably put him in because it's not like there's a massive drop-off. It's more about the consistency that Cade brings you on the offensive side of the ball that you're worried about losing if you go with JJ. Obviously, there is maybe a bit more explosiveness with JJ on the field with his legs. However, Cade McNamara has certainly found himself in that QB1 role and doing a fantastic job of it, even when he may struggle to throw the ball just a tad. McNamara gets the snap on 2nd and 7. He throws. It's complete to all across the middle. He's about a yard shy of the first down marker at the 34.
We saw All have a game he will not forget last week. So far, a little bit quiet, actually.
3rd down and 1. Handoff goes right up the middle for the Wolverines. It's Edwards. He's to the 30. And that's good enough for a Michigan first down. He picked up 4, and they only needed 1.
That was actually All's first catch of the game on that last play. So he is putting his name in the box score with that one.
He did have a target earlier in the game, and it was that weird A.J. Henning catch where it bounced off the chest plate of Eric Owen, landed into the hands of Henning on 4th and 5. On 1st and 10, McNamara fakes the handoff to Haskins. He looks on a wheel route towards the end zone for Wilson. He caught it, but he fell down at the 5. And the ball was a bit underthrown from McNamara to Wilson, but it's still a wonderful catch from Roman Wilson down at the 5-yard line.
That was a beautiful separation Wilson secured. You'd like to think that if the pass were not underthrown, that would be a touchdown. He could have kept on moving.
McNamara hands off up the middle to Haskins. He barrels his way down to the 3. It's a pickup of 2. Wilson got right past the talented cornerback, Jacorian Bennett.
Because he had to almost stop and go back to catch it. If he could have kept on moving, he would have been in the end zone, and they'd be kicking the extra point right about now.
Michigan with a full power formation, 4 tight ends in the game. They go Wildcat with McNamara in motion to the left side. Haskins gets the call, and he's stuffed at the line of scrimmage.
Interesting play call. I don't know if I agree with that one.
It's the first time we've seen that all season from the Wolverines and Josh Gaddis. Cross on the stop for Maryland.
Props to Maryland, too. I would be different if he found a gap and was able to get through, but Maryland's defensive line kept the pressure on Michigan and prevented any gaps from opening. It's going to be 3rd and 3 now.
Well, McNamara goes under center. The fullback is Haskins. Edwards goes in motion to the left side. McNamara looking towards the end zone. It's intercepted. There's a flag down. That may go against Maryland.
Let's see what the call is. It's going to be a holding on the defense.
It was intercepted by Jordan Mosley. That would have been his first pick of the year. He's the team leader in tackles. The safety for the Terps. And Michigan's going to get a first down and goal from it.
Yeah, on the 1, too, because it was in the end zone. So this is just super lucky for the Wolverines. You see when the referee announced that, the crowd started cheering. That's how many home fans are here. This is practically, you would think this is plucked out of Ann Arbor, the amount of Michigan fans in attendance. And if it weren't for the band, there wouldn't be a student left in the stadium, out of the field at least, to the student athletes.
Ball at the 1.5-yard line for the Wolverines. 2 tight ends in the game. A fullback is all. Handoff. Haskins tries the right side, being barreled into the end zone. Here come the referees to make the call.
He had a second effort.
Touchdown, Michigan.
Good.
Haskins' second of the day.
Haskins adding to this incredible season he has now. I believe that will make it 16 on the year, as Michigan looks to make it 31 to 3.
13 on the year for Hassan Haskins.
Or 13 on the year, pardon me.
2 on the day, though. 76 yards rushing on 18 attempts. Workhorse back again for the Wolverines. Moody on to attempt the extra point. He's been perfect all year. Hey, Adam, can you hear that chant from the opposite side of the field?
I sure can.
That's the Beat Ohio chant from the Michigan fans. They're excited for next Saturday.
Not exactly beat, but a different choice of words if I could hear that. But the kick will go in, so it's 31 to 3 as Michigan capitalizes again on a huge, huge mistake from Maryland with that holding, giving Michigan a new set of downs and negating a potential interception in the end zone.
And Mike Loxley is currently pleading his case at the 15-yard line to the officiating crew here at Capital One Field. And this game, Adam, had trap game written all over it from the beginning. And Michigan has shut that down. The 31-3 lead. I think a lot of people were maybe a little worried that Michigan would come in here looking forward to next Saturday and what, like I said, is the biggest challenge in quite some time for Jim Harbaugh and the Wolverines. But they had a task at hand, and as of now, they've taken care of it with only 8:50 to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, bearing some huge comeback from Maryland, which as a Michigan fan you don't want to see, but as a fan of college football, that would be one crazy comeback if they do come back. So barring that situation, Michigan will hold on to this win and go into the final regular season game with only one loss against Ohio State. So both teams would have one loss. It would be as simple as winner goes on to the Big Ten championship game, and more likely than not, also the CFP. At this point, it's unlikely that more than one Big Ten team makes it to the CFP, but it seems like one team is almost guaranteed to get in.
You would think at this point, as long as they can get past the champion of the West in the Big Ten title game, that a Big Ten team would be included in the Final Four at the end of the season.
Any updates on that Nebraska game from, is that in Lincoln or is that in Madison this week?
It is in Madison this week. It's 21-21, halfway through the third quarter. Look at some other final scores. Iowa defeated Illinois 33-23. Penn State over Rutgers 28-0. Purdue went on the road to take down Northwestern 32-14. Minnesota currently on top of Indiana 27-7. And of course Ohio State blowing out Michigan State and Columbus 56-7. Michigan needed the dominoes to fall into place exactly the right way. And well, right now the dominoes are exactly the way they wanted them to be.
Yeah, Michigan is blowing out Maryland at the moment. Ohio State, for better or for worse, did their job this afternoon in Columbus.
Jake Moody will kick it away. Waiting for it at his own 1 yard line is Antoine Littleton II, wearing number 31 in red. A sky-high kick comes down at the 5 yard line. Littleton will return. He tries the far right side. Michigan defenders in pursuit. He gets to the 20 yard line and he tries to cut back up, but German Green, the twin brother of Jamon, is there to take him down. 26 yard line is the official mark by the officiating crew here in College Park.
And with that, Maryland takes possession for the second time of the half. First drive was unable to get much movement, looking for a spark of anything to get more than 3 points on this game.
Tonga Vailoa, the quarterback, stands at his own 21. In motion comes Cobbs. Fakes the handoff to McDonald. Tonga Vailoa with plenty of time. There's penalties down. This play's going to come back. Tonga Vailoa's to the 40, and he's inside Michigan territory to the 45 yard line. Mason Lunsford will probably be called for a holding here.
And he knew it, too. He was looking at the ref with that face. Yeah, so they'll bring that one back. It'll be first down and 20 now.
It was David Ojabo rushing the quarterback, and he would have been there to make the stop on Tonga Vailoa if it weren't for the hold. Also would have been the biggest pickup on the ground of the day for Maryland. They have 68 yards rushing coming into this drive. Now it's first down and 20 yards to go for the Terps. 3 receivers split out to the left, 2 to the right. Tonga Vailoa in the shotgun, 5 yards behind his center, Anderson. Tonga Vailoa looks, throws to the left side, has got Okonkwo, the tight end. And look who's all the way out there. Aiden Hutchinson makes the stop for the Wolverines after a gain of 2. He's everywhere. He's in the backfield.
I know.
He's in the defensive backfield. He's in the flat.
Even the plays where he isn't credited, he still makes his presence known even if someone is officially awarded the sack in the box score. His presence helps out the rest of the team.
Tonga Vailoa gets the snap, stepping up in the pocket. Pressure coming from the Wolverines. Ojabo just misses him. He steps back up now. Tonga Vailoa missiles down the field. And the pass is brought in. It's caught. Darryl Jones.
Michigan's line is trying to say that it bounced, but looks like the ref had a better view than some of Michigan's coaches.
We got a beautiful view of it. Rod Moore was in coverage for the Wolverines. They're going to let it count for Daryl Jones on his senior day. Tagovailoa hands off McDonald, tries the left side, now cuts back up to the middle where Rod Moore will take him down after a gain of 4.
On that last play where they got the 20-yard missile for the first down, Michigan was just seconds away from tackling. They're showing the replay up in the booth. It looks like it was incomplete, but too late now as they already ran a play. So it's going to be 2nd and 7. Maryland maybe with a gift on that one. That's what you have to do sometimes. If it's close, just even if it's not a good play, just run
Get
something.
Up there, run a play.
Yeah. So Maryland at their own 46.
Tagovailoa takes the handoff to McDonald. He rolls out to the right. Lots of coverage for the Wolverines. Now Tagovailoa keeps. He's inside Michigan territory to the 40, and that's where he steps out of bounds. Moten pushed him out. First down for the Terrapins at the 40-yard line. Moving from left to right. They trail it 31-3 with 6:56 to go in the third quarter.
But Terrapins, for the first time this half, are moving the ball pretty consistently and in Michigan's territory.
Tagovailoa from the shotgun. McDonald is the running back to the left. He's gotten most of the workhorse carries today. 8 attempts, 32 yards. Play clock at 10 seconds. Tagovailoa checking with his line. He rolls out to the left side, pretty similar to that last play. He throws down the field. It's caught by Carrier and pushed out of bounds by Dax Hill at the 19-yard line.
For the first time all night, we're seeing on-point passes in the deep throw from Maryland. The question becomes, is it too little, too late?
Maryland would need a score now, and that means a touchdown, and then plenty of consecutive scores to get back in this game. 2 receivers to the left. One comes now in motion. A handoff to McDonald up the middle with lots of room. He's to the 15, rumbles his way down to the 10, and that's where he's chopped down. A gain of 9 on the play. It matches the long on the ground for a running back today for the Terps. 2nd and 1. Josh Ross made the stop for the Wolverines. Then straight back to the line of scrimmage go the Terps. Tagovailoa hands off McDonald. He tries the middle of the line this time when he's stripped back by Mozzie Smith.
Are they going to give him the first? It's awfully close, but I don't think they will. Going to be 3rd and inches. Are they going to bring out the chains potentially?
It's late, but they're going to give him a first down.
And that is on the 9 3/4 mark, so it's going to be 1st and goal now.
Trips to the left for Tagovailoa. He hands off to McDonald. Ojabo almost brought him down, but with what Ojabo did, kept him on his feet but stumbling. It allowed Michigan to get some reinforcements there. Junior Colson was the first Wolverine on the tackle.
Yeah, Michigan's defense has been pretty quiet tonight in the stat book. Only 1 sack so far, and that comes from Gray, the defensive back.
2 receivers split out to the right for Tagovailoa, who gets a snap in the shotgun. Trying to get away from Hutchinson. Talia keeps, throws to the end zone. Touchdown, Maryland.
Wow, so
That's
Maryland
Carlos Carrier for his 5th touchdown of the year.
Finally finding the end zone right there, too. It's going to be 9-31, so the Terrapins still have their work cut out for them. But slowly digging out of that hole with 4 minutes, 51 seconds remaining in this third quarter.
Once coverage got loose for Carrier away from DJ Turner, there was only so much that Turner could do to try and stick on his hip. Petrino's kick is up, and it is good. That makes the score Michigan 31, Maryland 10, with 4:51 to go here in the third quarter. Maryland doing what they can to try and get back in this game here in College Park.
Yeah, so still down 21, 3 touchdowns, but you have a tad under 20 minutes left. The question becomes if Michigan is able to put up any more points to potentially ice this game, and if the defense could maybe make an adjustment. Maryland was finally able to move down the field, it looks like. And a lot of it came from some deep passes that were on point for the first time all game. We saw a 20-yard pass on 3rd and long. And then we saw another 15-yard pass and then like an 18-yard pass. And that final touchdown was a 9-yard pass. So some deep passing from the Terrapins to finally find their way into the end zone.
Maryland, after punting twice today, having one block, turning the ball over on downs, and then lots of kickoffs, they finally break the touchdown drought that they've had, at least in this game. 31-10 is the Michigan lead. Warming up on the far sideline at quarterback is J.J. McCarthy, but also standing right next to him is Cade McNamara. And I think, Adam, if they would have gotten a stop, that we would have seen J.J. come in on this next drive. However, with it still being a 21-point game, I think we're going to see Cade yet again.
Yeah, and I think they might bring in J.J. for a couple of plays or two, but I agree with you. If they would have gotten a stop or even potentially held them to a field goal on that, you could have seen a whole drive given to J.J., but I think Cade comes out, and same with Haskins, too. I think a field goal would have probably had him down for good, but with a touchdown scored there, they're going to still bring him out this drive as well.
Joseph Petrino will be kicking it away. A.J. Henning is deep to return for the Wolverines.
And at this point, we haven't seen any from Cordum yet. I would say it's essentially unlikely he comes in at all today. But he did travel with the team, unlike last week. So that's a good sign for the Ohio State game next Saturday.
Petrino goes with a little pooch kick, and Barrett will now reverse the field. He throws to Henning. There's plenty of blockers for the Wolverines at the 40, 45, 50. He may be gone. All the way goes Henning. Put on the Jets. A.J. Henning's first career kickoff return touchdown. Michigan.
What did I say earlier in the broadcast? I said one of these times they will run a kickoff back. It's just a numbers game. And what did you know? It took a bit of trickery, but they found a way to do it. And Michigan will give it back to Maryland very quickly.
The Wolverines had a kickoff return for a touchdown here 2 years ago to open the game, courtesy of Giles Jackson. However, now in College Park in 2021, they have another on a field reverse pass from Michael Barrett to A.J. Henning, and the Wolverine faithful on the far sideline are right back into it. Michigan 37, Maryland 10, with 4:38 to go in the third quarter. What a play design.
Wow, my question is, why'd you waste it now? This game is essentially in the bag. Why
Adam,
not
look at the
save
far
it?
sideline.
Oh, yeah,
That's awesome.
This looks like they were against Wisconsin when they were playing jump around. They have the same energy on the sideline.
Moody's kick is up and it's good. 38-10 is the Michigan lead.
Moody with another phenomenal game today. He has one field goal and has yet to miss an extra point as well. So do you think an NFL opportunity might be in his future?
I would certainly say so. We see Quinn Nordine playing for the New England Patriots.
Hasn't had much opportunity. He's been on the injured reserve most of the season. But he did get drafted by them. And, you know, Belichick is a special teams mastermind. So he must have seen something. Belichick likes to draft his Wolverines, too. He has a couple of guys up in Foxborough. He has Winovich. He has Brady, obviously, who's on the team. He had Onwenu as well. So Belichick and the Wolverines, as well as Rutgers, too. He drafts a lot of Rutgers players as well.
Beat Ohio chants raining down in College Park. There's just a feeling right now with this team, Adam, that they have that underdog mentality, and Moody's going to be kicking it away. This is not returnable for DeJuan Ellis, who apparently has changed numbers to number 31. instead of his normal number 88 as listed in the stat book. And the Michigan defense will retake the field after the Terps put up 7 points on them, and we didn't see them not too long ago.
Yeah. So, assuming Michigan could get a stop here, I think we'll see JJ in for the rest of the game. Even if they don't get a stop, I think with that touchdown, even if Maryland brings it back within 21, enough time will be off the clock to give JJ enough of a cushion.
Drive starts with Tungavailoa handing off to the right side. Fleet Davis up the middle. There's a flag down past the 30 to the 31.
Yeah, but I love that special teams trickery earlier, but why waste it against Maryland? Why not put that in the playbook and use it against Ohio State when it potentially could be pivotal?
The flag was on right tackle Delmar Glaze. It'll be first down and 15 for the Terrapins. 2 receivers to the left side, 1 to the right, 1 up back. The running back is Fleet Davis to the left hip of Tungavailoa. Michigan shows blitz from Josh Ross. Tungavailoa now pulls it back out after the run fake, throws down the sideline, complete. Lots of space to move for the Terrapins. And his receiver gets out to the 45-yard line. That's Brian Cobbs, the senior, making his presence felt on this drive. First down for Maryland up to the 45.
Phenomenal footwork from Cobbs, able to move, avoid 3 separate tackles and get probably 20 extra yards.
Tungavailoa hands off Fleet Davis. He continues to drive his legs against Josh Ross, a pickup of 4. Ojabo went all the way down to make the tackle on the last play on Cobbs. But Moten and Ross combine on the tackle on Fleet Davis on first down and 10. Ball's now at the 49, 2nd and 6. Maryland nearing Michigan territory for the second consecutive drive. Tungavailoa from the shotgun gets the snap, drops to throw in a 3-step drop across the middle. Cobbs again, first down Maryland across the 45 to the 43. Again, Moten on the stop.
So the clock continues to tick, 3:24 in the third quarter, but Maryland moving down the field once again, just like last drive.
Michigan will see a lot of this next week, a lot of aerial attack from Ohio State. A handoff to the right side for Fleet Davis with a lot of room, trying to get down the sideline, and the safety Moten makes the stop for the Wolverines. Inside the 20, Maryland inside the red zone for Michigan.
Moten saving a touchdown right there, turning on the Jets and pushing him out of bounds too.
And talking about an underrated guy that really makes the Michigan defense chug. We'll get to it after this play. Tungavailoa hands off to the right side. Fleet Davis is knocked down hard by Hutchinson after maybe a gain of half a yard.
Hutchinson with a bear dive right on him, just leaped in the air and wrapped both arms around him. Got him down with a gain of 1, not even, like a half a yard.
I wanted to talk, though, about a guy that has really made the Michigan defense run in the past couple years. Brad Hawkins hasn't been on the field in this game. A little concerning, especially with the passing attack the Wolverines will see next week. Tungavailoa stepping up in the pocket with lots of room to run. He keeps it at the 10. Tungavailoa to the 5. He's going to get into the end zone for a Maryland touchdown.
You got to respect that move. He faked a turn inside the hashes, and immediately as Michigan's safeties began to crash on in, they pulled on the outside and found empty real estate to squeeze into the end zone. Not even squeeze, he had it pretty wide open.
Josh Ross was the only Michigan defender that had a chance to tackle him after the original scramble, and he got caught with his feet dead at the 5-yard line. And Tungavailoa, who is at full speed, made him pay. They'll keep the offense on the field. 38-16 is the Michigan lead.
That's interesting. Down, I guess, 22
really doesn't make
now.
sense.
Like, make it 21. It's still a multiple of 7. Do they not have that much faith in their kicker?
Tungavailoa will keep it up the middle. He dives into the end zone for a 2-point conversion, and Michigan still has yet to figure out the 2-point conversion on defense.
I guess their thought on that one was the offense is so hot and they have the momentum, why not ride it? And I guess it paid off for them. So it's only a 20-point game. So it doesn't quite change much. It's still 3 possessions, but maybe it'll give them a win instead of overtime. I guess. You'll take extra points, pad the stat book. I don't know. I don't know.
Now it's a 20-point spread. Michigan leads 38-18 with 2:22 to go in the third quarter. It seems like this third quarter just will not end.
Just back and forth. Both teams' defenses are really struggling this quarter.
We haven't seen Michigan's offense in quite some time because of the kick return for a touchdown.
So Michigan lines up to receive now. Curious to see if they'll be able to match the last one.
And that's pretty hard to do.
Yeah, maybe they have another trick play in their back pocket, just like the toss. But down by Maryland is down by 20, so they'll be kicking it, potentially even onside. You think is it starting to get to that time? They still have a quarter and then some. Our spotter, Eli, is shaking his head, no, not yet.
Petrino kicks off to Henning, and he'll reverse the field starting at the 5. This time he'll be chopped down at the 20, and the 21 is the official spot. So we haven't seen the Michigan offense since 8:50 to go in the third quarter, and that play was when Hassan Haskins barreled in for a 1-yard touchdown. 2:17 to go in the third quarter. Michigan leads by 20, 38-18.
And let's see who comes out under center. Looks like it will be Cade once again. So
Edwards is his back. Maryland getting caught with a late substitution. In motion comes Sainristil. Hand off Edwards up the middle. Not much going for him. A gain of 2 maybe.
Right into the defensive line, too. Wasn't going anywhere.
Stop was made by Anthony Booker Jr., the sophomore from Cincinnati. Donovan Edwards playing a critical part of the Michigan scheme here today. Only a couple of carries, but 8 receptions for 64 yards and a big third down conversion in the first half. McNamara splits 3 receivers out to the left. Haskins is the back. On 2nd and 8, throws short of Baldwin. The pass is called incomplete. They tried to set up a screen on the left side. Isaiah Hazel, the nickelback, was there for Maryland. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 8. And this game, Adam, is not over yet. 38-18. Michigan leads with 1:35 to go in the third quarter. Maryland would need a big stop here.
This is almost exclusively Michigan fans, though. The half a dozen Terrapins who stuck this one out could get a show in the making.
Edwards is the back to the left hip of McNamara, who has a bunch to the left. Andrell Anthony is the apex of that bunch. McNamara drops to throw. Plenty of time looking down the sideline for Edwards. He's got him at the 50-yard line. Edwards cuts at the 45. Edwards 40, 35, 30. He's going all the way. Touchdown, Michigan. Donovan Edwards. 79 yards for the Wolverines, and the freshman from Bloomfield puts him back up big.
That was an incredible play design. Got him wide open with space, and not only that, once he made the catch, he was able to cross the field and have an open lane to run, and he just turned on the jets, and Maryland could not catch him.
McNamara missed that pass earlier to Roman Wilson for what should have been a touchdown, and he hit it fully in stride Donovan Edwards on that last throw. Moody set to put it through the uprights, and he does what Jake Moody does. 45-18 is the Michigan lead. They opt to not go for 2. With 1:23 to go in the third quarter, 45-18, 5 straight possessions for both teams have resulted in touchdowns combined.
Is it even a possession for Michigan if you didn't get the offense out on the field? But you're right. It was just back and forth, back and forth. I think both teams, it's cold out there. It's dark out there. I think the defenses are really hurting, and both teams' offenses are really exploiting that now. Michigan is giving up a lot of medium-sized plays. Maryland's giving a lot big plays up.
Third touchdown on the year for Donovan Edwards and his first receiving touchdown of his career. He had 2 rushing touchdowns back against Northern Illinois.
And that just wasn't a dump off. That was a deep route that they had him running.
Michigan should have had a touchdown on that play, like I mentioned with Wilson earlier in this game, but they should have had a touchdown on that play to Blake Corum against Michigan State.
I remember that one too, yeah.
They were deep inside their own territory, and McNamara just floated one. Corum actually dropped it, and Moody is going for that one extra point, trying to put it through the uprights. It goes over the head of Ellis, and the Terps will start at the 25-yard line, and Talia Tungavailoa's got to be like, come on, man.
I don't know. If anything, as a quarterback, this is a time you like. Like, unfortunately, it doesn't look like Maryland's going to win this, but he has time to try up some new plays and potentially get some more touchdowns. He already has a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown, all in this very long third quarter. And although his team might be out of it, he personally has an opportunity to add his film collection.
Tungavailoa on a pitch pass, a shovel to Cobbs, and he's torn down immediately by Daxton Hill. No gain on the play.
Hill saw Cobbs in motion, and quickly followed him and took over and got him down. 0 gain, but moves it to the other hash.
1 minute to go in the third quarter. Michigan 45, Maryland 18. 2 receivers split out to the left for Tungavailoa. Maryland moves from left to right. The ball's currently on the right hash where Spencer Anderson directs traffic. Tungavailoa gets a snap, looking for a weir out of their own. Tungavailoa now rolls back out to the left side. He throws down the field, and it's intercepted. DJ Turner's got it. He cuts up the field at the 25, inside the 20, and into the end zone. Touchdown, Michigan! Their first offensive score of the year.
So this game, they're doing everything. They got a special team score. They got a defensive score. And they go up 51-0 with that.
They completed the trifecta of touchdowns.
Yeah.
There's lots of beefing going on at the goal line right now between the Wolverines and Jalen Duncan, the left tackle for Maryland.
So they're going to review that, see if he stepped out of bounds. Our spotter, Eli, is shaking his head no. So assuming that result holds, Michigan will attempt the extra point, up 51-18. You mentioned Michigan hadn't had a defensive touchdown all season. Many Michigan fans and players and coaches think they should have had one. Oh, it looks like his foot might have been out.
That's really close, and I think it is going to be out of bounds.
They're zooming in on this one. It's awfully close. I don't know if it'll be a stands or maybe overturned, but it is certainly close. Might bring this one back, so I feel like we may have spoken too soon. At the moment, it's 51-18, but looks like the offense is coming, or the special teams is coming off the field, so maybe they feel it brewing.
Let's go Blue Chance. Raining across Capital One Field. And this is what you like to see if you're Wolverine faithful, is everyone coming together before what is obviously the biggest week of the season.
The question is whether there's enough evidence to overturn, because it looks awfully close, but nothing really
Adam?
definitive.
What do you think the call's going to be here?
I think it'll be stands. I don't think he might have been out. I just don't think it's indisputable evidence.
It stands. Touchdown,
What
Michigan.
did I say? It's just in college you got to have indisputable evidence, and there's a shadow of a doubt there that he may have been in bounds, so that's enough. So that will be the first defensive score. As I was saying earlier,
Should be the second score of the year.
Many Michigan fans and players and coaches think that they should have scored, and the Big Ten Conference even said it should have been a touchdown against Michigan State. But nonetheless, it wasn't, and this will be the first one as the kick goes up and in for
you think
Moody.
Maybe Jake Moody at some point would just mix it up and miss one every once in a while.
Yeah, I know. It's chip shot for him. He has a field goal today from 39, and then outside of that, he has 7 extra points, all of the money.
No, I tell you what, some people are going to be some very happy people when it comes to after this game, unless Maryland can put together a couple of scoring drives, with the score being 52-18. Does the number 16 sound familiar to some people?
Explain that for our listeners.
That's the spread of this game.
I don't know about the spread, but if you had the over, you're definitely liking this in the second half. At halftime, you're like, oh, no, this could be a low scorer, but both teams, Michigan and Maryland, put on the offensive
Michigan
jets.
almost has the over on their own. It was 58.
Oh, wow. So I guess at halftime it
I don't like
to
talk about gambling during an actual broadcast, but sometimes when blowouts like this happen, it's fun to talk about.
Yeah. So 16 was the line. You saw in Columbus, the line was 19, and they blew that out of
kickoff.
I was shocked going into that game. I'm like, why is this a 19-point spread when it's the number 7 versus number 4? But I guess Ohio State quieted me and all the other doubters with the performance.
More than 70% of the money today was actually on Ohio State to cover 19.
So I'm sure Vegas does not like that. Speaking of Vegas, Michigan is playing tomorrow in the Michigan's men's basketball team.
Roman Invitational for the championship.
In Las Vegas.
Tagovailoa brings a man in motion, hands off to Fleet Davis up the middle. He had a hole. And he's tackled by Michael Barrett after a gain of 8. It'll be 2nd down and 2. The Terps have had a lot of running room today, including Tagovailoa, the quarterback, but haven't been able to put the ball in the end zone until this 3rd quarter, and the Terps are going to get one more play before the end of the quarter. Tagovailoa hands off. Fleet Davis is going to be brought down by a gang of Michigan defenders. Barrett and Jeter, the first 2 are there.
And
no
they
gain on
threw
the
him to the ground. Not only did they stop him.
And that'll be the end of the 3rd quarter. Michigan leads 52-18 over Maryland. 15 minutes to go before officially setting the table for Michigan and Ohio State.
Both me and Zach will be reprising this broadcast next Saturday. We'll be doing both halves of the game. So Zach
Which is relatively rare for a WCBN broadcast.
Yeah, especially
usually we split
football.
off at the half.
So it'll be a really fun one. I'll be doing color. Zach will be following up as play-by-play. At halftime, we have a couple of alums coming back to the booth.
That'll be really cool.
To take over the halftime show. We got Nate Sorensen and Jeremy Parks returning to the Big House press box. Both of them graduated in the past couple years, and they will be taking over at halftime to recap the game and give our voices a bit of a break since we'll be commentating both halves.
That'll be fun. I know I'm staying here tonight. Are you flying home tonight?
I'm flying home tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So I got to drive back to my hotel and then hit the road in the morning back to Ann Arbor. I had to drive here.
Where are you staying tonight?
We're staying in a little town called Clear Springs, Maryland, which is just inside the border from Pennsylvania over to Maryland.
I think I've stayed there when I went on my high school Gettysburg trip. We stayed in that town. May have been the same motel, but
Holiday Inn?
I think it was, yeah. I think it might be the same one. But I grew up in Washington, D.C., so this was a treat for me. I got to come home for the weekend, see my parents, stay at home, eat at my favorite restaurants as well. I'm going to my absolute favorite restaurant in the world after this game, Tortilla Coast on Capitol Hill.
What's the order from Tortilla Coast?
I get the same thing every time, and they know me there. I walk in, and I don't even have to tell them. I get order fajitas without any peppers or tomatoes, so it's just steak and onions. So good. They bring me fries instead of rice and beans. They know me too well there.
Man, it's kind of funny for anyone that's listening that I'm friends with at home know that I love my Subway. And the Subway on State Street in Ann Arbor, they know my order by now.
Yeah. Same with that Domino's right across from your place. I go there every Thursday before my shift at the gym, and I get the same exact order. They know me. They're like, welcome back, Adam.
Anyone that wants to come swing by and say hi, I'm sure that festivities will be high throughout the week. Yeah. You can catch us right by Yost Arena in Ann Arbor. And 6:27 local time. I'm pretty sure ice hockey will be dropping the puck at 7 o'clock tonight against Notre Dame to finish the 2-game set.
Yeah, we have Nabil and Joshua Tinzer on WCBN2 with some commentary, so follow this game going over to that.
Maryland back in action on 3rd down and 2. Hands off Lee Davis trying the left side. Michigan defense is right there to make the stop. It was Daxton Hill and Mozzie Smith. Mozzie Smith has had a fantastic 3rd quarter.
It's going to be close. I don't know if they'll give him the first.
And the offense will almost certainly stay on the field.
Going to be 4th and 1. Literally 2 or 3 inches. It's quite narrow, but Michigan seems to be best with these 4th and inches situations.
Tungavailoa gets the snap, rolling out to the right side, looking for a receiver. Stepping back, throws off his back foot. The pass is incomplete. It slipped through the hands of his intended receiver, Nick DeGenero, and the ball will flip over to the Wolverines.
And they have a really short field to begin this one. They're going to take it over on Maryland's 34.
And if you're the Terps, you just have to go for that one. At this point, you don't really care about the score. It's just about getting as much repetition as you can and trying to make this game respectable. And here come the Beat Ohio chants again. J.J. McCarthy in at quarterback.
Yeah, not exactly Beat Ohio, but I'll let our viewers fill that in.
I think this one might be Beat Ohio. I think at home it's the other one.
No, I think it's the same one here, too, if my ears are not deceiving me.
McCarthy fakes the handoff to Edwards, looking into the flat for all. He can't find him. McCarthy escapes, completes the pass to Edwards in the flat at the 20, 15, 10, 5, and he's knocked out of bounds. A big hit at the 5-yard line finds the Terrapin defender, getting the worst of it against Donovan Edwards, who is a big, strong body. He only stands at 6 foot, but over 200 pounds of straight muscle. The freshman from West Bloomfield almost got his 2nd touchdown.
All was wide open early in the play development, but props to McNamara, or JJ rather, in having the discipline to hang on to it.
McCarthy drops the snap, keeps it on the read anyway. He's at the 5-yard line trying to get to the edge. McCarthy dives towards the end zone. He's in! Touchdown, Michigan! How about the freshman? 2 plays from the Wolverines, and they're in for 6.
Michigan is just putting on the scoring now. It's 58-18. So Michigan on their own got the over. You were correct. With 13 minutes, 40 seconds left in this game.
2nd rushing touchdown of the season for J.J. McCarthy. His first came against Wisconsin. That one was on a quarterback sneak. This one was not exactly a designed quarterback run. He dropped the snap, ended up faking the handoff to Edwards anyways. The Moody kick is pure. Faked the handoff to Edwards to the left side. McCarthy kept around the right end, and he just scampered away from Maryland defenders all the way to the corner of the end zone, where he bounced off one more defender and found his way in. Michigan leads 59-18 over the Terps.
Yeah, and any Terrapin fan left in the stadium is filing out now. Even some Michigan fans are filing out now. But the people who remain, what's the quote? Those who stay will be champions. Same goes with the fans who are sticking it out in the cold on this evening in College Park, Maryland.
Michigan athletes on the far sideline are just looking towards the faithful that made the trip all the way out to the DMV area for this game.
I think a lot of these people, it's not make the trip out. It's people
they're
who
here.
lived here. But yeah, you're right. They made the trip out to College Park, Maryland. It's a bit of a hoof for those who live in the city or live in Virginia or potentially even Montgomery County to come on over to Prince George's. Maybe even take the metro out here. There's a metro stop a little bit over a mile away. Or drive on out here as well.
And another object, I suppose, on the far sideline is Testudo. He's trying to have a good time still.
Yes. He is probably my favorite mascot, second favorite in the Big Ten.
Uh-oh.
Guess my favorite.
Oh, here we go. Purdue Pete.
No, he scares me. He's in my nightmares.
One more guess?
One more. Go ahead.
I'm going to go with an upset pick. Little Red from Nebraska.
I like him. My
The
favorite.
blow-up doll.
Yeah, my favorite, Goldie Gopher.
Okay. That's a
I
good
liked him so much, I almost went to Minnesota. That's how much I liked him.
Wow.
He's an all-time mascot. Hilarious dude. He dresses up on Halloween whenever they play on or near Halloween. But there's some scary mascots in the Big Ten. Purdue Pete.
Penn State.
The Nittany Lion scares
The bejeebies.
yes out of me. It's just so scary.
These are the kind of things that we talk about when a team is winning 59-18. 41-point lead for the Wolverines as Moody's kick is a real high one. It comes down to Ellis at the 4, and he calls a fair catch.
Looking around the league, Arkansas is hanging in with Alabama. Potential upset brewing. They trail 28-34, but they have the possession in the fourth quarter. Nebraska is tied with Wisconsin. Some implications for the Big Ten West at 28. UVA is trailing Pitt by 3 in the fourth quarter.
And I'll tell you what, I'm a little disappointed in the score right now between Cincinnati and SMU. A lot of people, I believe, were expecting a pretty solid game out of those two. Tungavailoa brings Okonkwo in motion. Starting at the own 25-yard line, Nakai Hill-Green shoots through the A-gap, makes the stop on Colby McDonald. He dove forward for a gain of 1. Maryland with the starters still on the field. Michigan has pretty much the second-team group out there on defense. Tagovailoa claps his hands, doesn't get the snap. Michigan shows blitz. Now number 3 rolls out to the right side. Tagovailoa to the 25, and he's almost knocked down hard by Mike Morris, but he just sideswipes him. 2nd and 9.
So this
3rd
game
and 9, excuse me.
pretty much assuredly sets up a 10-1 v. 10-1 battle next weekend.
It's a championship game.
It's a championship game practically, and it's the Big Ten East championship game between these bitter rivals. Michigan hasn't won in 10 years. Has not won under Coach Jim Harbaugh. That's probably been the biggest gripe about his coaching, is that he can't win these big games.
Tungavailoa throws back across the field, and the pass is incomplete. He wanted to go all the way back to Chigoziem Okonkwo, but Mike Morris, the defensive end, was in coverage of the Maryland tight end. It'll bring up 4th down and 9.
I'm just going to say this, the hype in Ann Arbor this next week is going to be through the roof. I know a lot of students
With
are
it being
returning.
Thanksgiving break.
Yeah, they either already are home or they're returning home. But those who are on campus will be excited. The media, national media, will likely come to that game as well.
Colton Spangler to kick it away for Maryland. The lefty just
Interesting.
gets it away.
Interesting move to punt there. I guess this game is essentially over and they just want to slow down Michigan, honestly.
And to be honest, Adam, that was, in my opinion, the most impressive drive of the game for the Michigan defense. And it's not because they got them on a 3-and-out. It's because they forced the Maryland starters on a 3-and-out with Michigan's second-team defense.
Yeah, a lot of those second-team players will be the first team next year, so it speaks well for the future of this program.
And you look especially, I think, at the cornerback position. Of course, they're going to be losing a lot when it comes to defensive ends. They'll lose Hutchinson to graduation in the draft. Like you said, they may lose David Ojabo and Taylor Upshaw.
I have a feeling if
draft.
Ojabo keeps playing like he is, he'll declare. He'll be a top 15 first-round lock.
But now you may have to turn to some freshmen next year. You have Will Johnson, who's already committed. He's a for sure Wolverine. Recently decommitted. Domani Jackson out in California. You'd love to see him commit to the Wolverines from USC. Out there on that last drive, you saw Keyshawn Harris and DJ Turner still. Michigan's a little short when it comes to the cornerback position right now with Jamon Green out with injury.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, that's also the most improved position because we knew about the defensive ends. We knew they were going to be good. Hutchinson returns from injury. Ojabo kind of came from off the radar, but nonetheless, they knew about the talent that he had.
Don Brown didn't utilize him the way he is best utilized.
Well, Ojabo you're talking about?
Yeah.
He was also stuck in Europe.
Yeah,
last year with his Scotland issue. No one knows the story, you might as well go over it really quick. David Ojabo is from Aberdeen, Scotland. He was born in Nigeria, moved to Scotland, played high school here in the States. However, he traveled back to Scotland right after COVID happened in 2020, and he couldn't get back into the United States. They wouldn't let him come back from international. And he missed most of the season last year because he simply couldn't get back. He tried to stay on a strict training regimen that Don Brown and the strength staff gave him. However, they simply just were not able to keep him. Another score update from Madison. Wisconsin's just taken a 35-28 lead over the Cornhuskers. And if Adrian Martinez is able to maneuver a drive for Nebraska, at this point I think you just say, you know what, if we score, we're going to go for 2 and try to upset the Badgers in Madison.
Even if Nebraska doesn't win this one, they are possibly the best 3-win team in college football history. Seems like every game not only did they have a really tough schedule this year, playing Michigan, playing Ohio State, playing Penn State, they kept it close against all those teams.
Dan Villari, the quarterback on a read option, keeps to the right side, and he's brought down at the 44-yard line. First down for the Wolverines. His first carry goes for 11 yards. Leon Franklin, the running back. Multiple tight ends in for the game. Honingford, Seltzer, Trente Jones has checked back in for the Wolverines. However, instead of wearing number 80, he's wearing number 53, so he can play at tackle. The lone wide receiver is Andrell Anthony. Honingford goes in motion from the right side of the formation to the left. Here's a handoff to Leon Franklin. He cuts up the field after a gain of 3. He's brought down.
So last drive,
Jr. on the stop.
The defense, the second team on defense came in last drive. Now we got the second team on offense coming in.
Third-string quarterback, too.
Yeah, third-string quarterback. Michigan isn't losing a ton of people on offense outside of the line, but it is good to see some of these other guys get some opportunities late in the season.
Villari will roll out to the right side. He finds Carter Seltzer. That's his first career reception inside Maryland territory to the 45. Seltzer refuses to go down. He's all the way to the 39-yard line. How about that for your first career reception? Congratulations, Carter Seltzer.
He was like a pinball machine, just hitting off guys, but staying on up.
Oh, no, it's not going to count. There's a flag down.
Yeah, and they're bringing it on back, too.
It's an ineligible receiver downfield.
Oh, wow.
So that's Trevor Keegan. That'll bring it back. Oh, man.
That's disappointing, but
the fifth-year senior, 6'8", 244 pounds. That would have been his first career reception. The sheriff, they call him, for the mustache that he has.
Yeah. So that'll make it 2nd and 12. Is that right? Yeah.
2nd and 11.
11. Okay.
Oh no, they'll move it back 1 more yard. 2nd and 12.
11:25 remaining in this game. So still some opportunities for Michigan to get back at it. They go back into their own territory with that penalty. Michigan has had some trouble with penalties this game, something they'd like to maybe clamp down on over the week.
We say issue, and it's only 4.
Yeah.
8 penalties on the Terps, and a lot of them costing them field position, 1 turnover, and a touchdown.
So they're showing the standings. Iowa and Wisconsin in a fight for the top of the West. Oh, wow. So the referee is saying that it may have been touched, which would have negated any ineligible receiver downfield, because once it's touched at the line of scrimmage, any player is eligible to catch it or go downfield or whatever. So it's going to go under review.
This is an interesting, rare challenge that you really never see anymore.
I think Harbaugh is using this for the sake of his player. That was such a big catch. And, yeah, it's just a huge game, too. It's a huge blowout at this point. So it's not really risking much. There's a benefit for his player if it's overturned. But if they lose it, losing a timeout with 11 minutes in a blowout isn't exactly a huge cost. I'm looking at the clip. I don't think they'll have enough to overturn it, but maybe they got an angle I don't see. Okay, so they're going to say play stands as called. Michigan will lose one of its timeouts.
Which at this point don't matter.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think you're right. I think that's for the sake of the player.
Even the action of doing that,
I think they got to draw him up a play to get him one more.
Yeah.
He had a play reviewed earlier in the season that ended up being a drop. And Valari will drop the throw across the left side, and it's incomplete, intended for Baldwin.
So that'll make
Coley Jr. in coverage.
3rd and 12 now.
Just drawing up for big ol' 89.
Yeah.
A fifth-year senior deserves some love.
I do think that is something that might hurt Michigan in these games. Michigan has such an out-of-state population, especially compared to a lot of other Big Ten schools. Considering they play Ohio State on Thanksgiving, comparatively, their student section is often not available to attend.
Valari will keep the ball to the left side on a pure draw, and he will be tackled hard at the 45-yard line.
Going to be 4th and 10. Very likely to see the punt crew come on out.
Tyze Johnson made the stop for Maryland. And Brad Robbins will take the field to punt. Robbins has had a really good year. Of course, we don't want to see him have a good year simply because we don't want to see him punt the football. However, he has a long of 65 on the season and averages just under 46 yards a punt. Plenty of coffin corners we've seen from Mr. Robbins this season. He stands at his own 30, gets the ball away on a spiral kick. Down to the 20-yard line, the ball will bounce horizontally inside the 15 and will make its way to the 10, and the wind will give it a little extra down to the 9-yard line.
Going to be a media timeout again with 10:22 remaining in this one. Seems like both teams are just trying new stuff in this game, using the opportunity to it's senior day for the Terrapins, so I would imagine they'll put in seniors for the last couple of drives. And this stadium is emptying out fast. Probably less than 5,000 folks left in the stadium, and probably 4,500 of those are Michigan fans.
Well, another quick update on the game going on in Madison, Wisconsin. The Badgers lead the Cornhuskers 35-28. And we keep giving you updates because this does have significant implications on the rest of the year for the whole Big Ten, not just Michigan, not just Ohio State, but the Big Ten West. Iowa still has a chance to make it there. Wisconsin still got a chance to make it there, and I think Minnesota has a slight chance to make it there as well.
Did Minnesota win today? When I checked in early, I haven't been following the game because I've been commentating.
They're currently leading 35-7 in Bloomington.
So they will win, bearing any surprises.
And as I was bringing up, Nebraska is driving right now on Wisconsin. They're inside the 25 with a minute and a half to go. So if you're interested in that game, it's on ABC. You can flip that game on, watch Nebraska and Wisconsin. While listening to us, we still got quite a bit of time to go. 10:22 in the fourth quarter, and what's been a really long second half here from College Park.
Yeah, just a lot of scoring, which slows down the game because it brings in a lot of media time. It's fun for us, yeah, but a lot of media timeouts.
It looks like Alabama also may break free from Arkansas. It's currently 42-28 in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, I don't know if Bama gets a second loss if they make it to the CFP. I think they have to beat Georgia to keep their hopes alive.
Talia Tungavailoa remains the running back. From the shotgun, he stands at his own 5. Turns, hands off. This is Boone. He spins away from a defender, and the referee almost made a really clutch stop for the Wolverines all the way up to the 19. He's just shy of the first down. Mccarthy Page made the stop, the backup safety wearing number 7. Penny Boone, 6'1", 245 pounds, gets the snap and the handoff on this one. He's past the 25, spins away to the 27-yard line. And Boone is a Detroit kid, attended Martin Luther King Academy. Coming into today, had just over 150 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. He remains the back. Tungavailoa stands at his own 22-yard line, drops to throw, looking. He's going to be sacked down. That's only the 2nd sack of the day for the Wolverine defense. It's TJ Guy, the freshman, gets him.
You love to see that, potentially looking at guys to replace Hutch and Ojabo, and he's making a name.
TJ Guy is consistently one of the guys that gets high praise on the scout team for the Wolverines. Michigan taking advantage of the substitution rules again. Joey George checks in, and Jess Spate will take his sweet time to get off the field.
He's practically walking off. And there he goes, finally onto the sideline.
Play clock goes all the way down to 1, so Michigan may have found a loophole. Tungavailoa continues to roll out. Look who's there again. TJ Guy gets sidestepped. Welchoff now coming in hot pursuit, and the ball is thrown incomplete at the 20-yard line.
Probably lucky for Maryland they dropped that. It would have been a loss of a couple.
He's looking for Corey Dyches. Mike Barrett in coverage. 3rd down and 19 for the Terps. 8:36 to go in the 4th quarter. Michigan leads at 59-18. Outgaining Maryland through the air, 317 to 178. On the ground, Maryland's actually outgaining the Wolverines, 161 to 130. Tungavailoa gets a loopy snap, looking for a screen, throws into the flat, and it's almost intercepted. He was looking for Fleet Davis. Nakai Hill Green almost came down with the one-handed pick. Also in coverage for the Wolverines was Keyshawn Harris, the junior from Lansing.
And that's going to bring the special teams onto the field. 4th and 19. And it seems like both teams just want to go back to the locker room. What's the temperature looking like on the field right now? We're up in the press box, so we're kind of isolated
nice and
from
cozy.
that.
It's 43 degrees and clear down on the field. The kick is away from Spangler, and it'll come down into the awaiting arms of A.J. Henning at the 31-yard line. That's where the Michigan offense will set up with Dan Villari playing quarterback.
Yeah, Michigan's sideline was really excited early in the 3rd quarter, midway through the 3rd quarter, but now it seems like that energy has even worn off for them. They kind of just want to return to the locker room. Do you know if they're flying back today or are they spending the night in Maryland?
They'll fly back tonight.
So they'll likely take the charter back in nearby Baltimore, Washington, Thurgood Marshall Airport.
Michigan, statistically speaking, they currently lead 59-18. They've scored over 60 points one time this year, and that was against Northern Illinois back on September 18th. Looking into the past against Maryland, they've never scored this many points. Over 60, that is. They did score 59, which is the same as the score here in 2016 in Ann Arbor. And they have dominated this series. Michigan leads the overall series 8-1. And since Maryland joined the Big Ten in 2014, they've only had one victory.
Yeah, that was the very first game in the Big Ten, too. So Maryland made a shot, but unable to match that since joining. Maryland hasn't seen much success since joining the Big Ten in 2014.
Jim Harbaugh's undefeated against them. That one win came against Brady Hoke.
Yeah. You see, up in the stadium here, they got the ACC championships they've won. No Big Ten championships. It's just been a tough time to join the Big Ten. Ohio
in the
State
division that they're in
the East Division, exactly. The geography kind of hurts them.
Yeah.
They're fortunate enough to play Rutgers every year, but other than that, they have to face off against Ohio State, which has been unprecedentedly good.
It's a dynasty that they're running in Columbus.
Michigan's always good. Penn State's always good. Michigan State's always good.
Rise.
Indiana has had its up and downs the past couple seasons, but even that's a tough challenge to face off against. So Maryland kind of unlucky. They'd almost prefer maybe a realignment because it might give them a slightly easier slate. That has been talk based on how dominant the East has been the past 5 years or so. But lots of talk. I doubt any changes will occur anytime soon.
Michigan's offense retakes the field from the 31-yard line, moving from left to right. 8:25 to go in the fourth quarter. 59-18 is the Wolverine lead. Volari is the quarterback in the shotgun. Hands off Leon Franklin. He'll try the left side. There's a flag down. He gets back to the line of scrimmage in the 32, but that'll be a hold on the Wolverine offensive line.
Yeah, this is unfortunate, but I don't think this really speaks to the team. A lot of these players, this is the first time or one of the first times they are getting any snaps all season in actual games. So it's unfortunate that these errors are happening, but I don't think it is a reason to be concerned about next week. So 8:17 left in this fourth quarter. Still, this game is slowing on down.
Michigan splits two wide receivers, one to each side. One tight end in the game on the right side, that's Honingford. Volari hands off. This is Danny Hughes. He's to the 25-yard line and spins to the 26.
And Michigan just trying to keep the clock running, I think, is priority numero uno at the moment. But also distribute the ball to some players who might not have had opportunities outside of this game. Keep the starters healthy for next week. Don't want to have any injuries in garbage time now, a week before Ohio State.
Volari claps his hands and gets a snap. He looks far down the seam for Matt Torrey, and the pass is incomplete. Triple coverage down there for the Terps.
Just
led
had
by Isaiah Hazel.
Jet down the sideline and unable to catch up to the ball.
And now checking into the game for the Wolverines to play quarterback is Texas Tech transfer Alan Bowman. He has one pass attempt on the year, and it was intercepted back against Wisconsin.
That was the first turnover, too, for the team.
Well, he's got a flag here. He can look down the field, and it's for Will Rolap. It's caught at the 50-yard line and brought in for the Wolverines inside Maryland territory. A nice pitch and catch from Bowman to Rolap.
Had the free play, and he took advantage of it.
That's a veteran quarterback.
So it's going to be offsides. Obviously, Michigan declines it for a gain of about 25 yards.
And that was a really nice ball from Alan Bowman. He fit it right in between Hazel, the safety, and the cornerback. Bowman tries to do it again. He looks to the sideline. Franklin is the back to the left hip of Bowman. He now shifts over to the right. Three receivers in the game for the Wolverines: Rolap, Johnson, and Torrey. Bowman hands off. Leon Franklin tries the middle of the line, chugs his legs to the 40-yard line. He may get the 39, and he'll be shy of a first down by just a yard.
Keeping the clock moving as it inches its way under 7 minutes left.
Damian Robinson made the stop for Maryland. You'd love to see a Michigan walk-on get into the end zone on this drive. You don't want to pour on the points and make Maryland look bad, but a walk-on touchdown would mean something to one of those players, as Isaiah Gash is now the running back for the Wolverines.
You say that as if it doesn't mean something to the starters, too, but you're right. I agree with what you're saying. First down there.
Hand off to Gash up the middle. He got a couple.
So Michigan is all but assured a New Year's Six bowl at this point. The question is whether it'll be a CFP one or a Rose Bowl or a Peach Bowl. Rose Bowl would be very exciting, very prestigious. Have not played in one since 2007 against USC, where Michigan was dominated 32-18.
There's a flag down on the near side. It'll be a false start on the Wolverines. And it's called on the slot receiver, George Johnson. George Johnson is quite the story. The young man from Stewartville, Florida, was recruited as a DB, but played quarterback in high school. He then became a receiver, turned DB, turned back to receiver just a couple of weeks ago. He's been a star on the scout team for the Wolverines. He's currently in the slot, splitting Torrey and Rolap on the right side. Isaiah Gash is the running back. The tight end is Seltzer to the left. Hand off, Isaiah Gash tries to get away from a defender, but he's pushed out of bounds.
Maybe a gain of 2 on that one, but not much movement for the Wolverines.
Corey Coley on the stop. Clock continues to move. It's at 5:05. 59-18 is the Michigan lead. Ball's currently at the 37-yard line. Michigan moves from left to right. To get the first down, they need the 24. White jerseys, blue pants, winged helmets for the Wolverines. Bowman looks into the flat. It's complete to Hughes. He's at the 34, and that's where he's pushed out of bounds by Robinson.
A gain of 3 or so. Interesting play call if Michigan is unable to get the first down. It would be a long field goal, but it's certainly feasible.
And
I don't know.
If they were to jog out the team for a field goal, we'd probably see Jake Moody, but it'd be pretty neat to see Tommy Doman, the freshman that does travel with the team, get a chance to show off his leg. It'd be going into the wind as well, as Michigan moves from left to right, the wind moving from right to left. Clock moving at 4:08 in the fourth quarter. Bowman will throw. Looking towards the sideline. It's complete to Baldwin, but he's shy of the first down by quite a few yards.
Did gain of 6 or so on that, so it will make it easier if Michigan elects to kick, whether that is with Moody or with another kicker. And it looks like the offense is going to stay on the field anyway, so it's a moot point. 4th and 5.
With that last play, Michigan eclipses 500 yards of offense on the day. Thank you to our spotter and statistician, Eli, giving us a helping hand up here in the booth. With 3:30 to go, Michigan all but surely with a date with Ohio State next week. Bowman looks into the flat for Hughes, and he overthrew him by a couple feet.
He was open, but he just errant pass, and that's going to bring Maryland back on the field. So Michigan unable to eclipse 60 points, at least at this point. Maybe they'll be able to get another defensive score, but it's looking unlikely at this moment. This could be the final drive of the game as Maryland takes over with 3 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. I have a feeling that both teams kind of just want to get into the locker room at this point.
And, of course, if you're Maryland, you want to get back into the locker room with your star quarterback healthy. Tagovailoa is still a quarterback. He hands off to McDonald. That's a hard run up the middle. But Joey Velasquez, a dual-sport athlete for the Wolverines, cuts him down at the ankles. It'll be 2nd down and 4 after a gain of 6. Also plays outfield for the baseball team. Joey Velasquez, not just the only Michigan baseball player on the football team as well. Joe Taylor, a freshman from Chelsea, is also part of that group. Another handoff to McDonald. They're on the left side. And there's big Jordan Whitley, the transfer from Oregon State, giving a helping hand on the stop. The other Michigan defender in there was Mccarthy Page. It'll bring up 3rd down and 2.
So the clock continues to move.
Tagovailoa handoff up the middle. This is McDonald again, and he's got the 1st down. He's got the 1st down all the way up to the 42-yard line. Maryland trying to get on the board one more time with 2:15 to go in the fourth quarter. On the last stop for Michigan, Jalen Harrell. Father played for the Detroit Lions. Quite a few Michigan Wolverine connections to the NFL on this team.
Ooh,
Here's
beautiful
a run to the right
play
side by Boone, and he's cut down really hard. And on the stop there was Jalen Perry. He cut him down right at the knees, and Boone is walking off pretty gingerly. And that'll bring Fleet Davis back into the game to play running back for Maryland. He was cut down hard. Shooting in there like a missile was Perry. That's a lot like Daxton Hill.
Yeah. You know what they say, low man wins in football, and he was exhibiting it there.
1 minute, 30 seconds to go in the ball game. Michigan by 41. Overall, great performance by the Wolverines. Have to talk about the defense just a little bit. Here's a handoff to McDonald. He's stuffed away up the middle. Chris Jenkins, Rod Moore. Jenkins is another son of an NFL player. To bring up 3rd down and 10.
56 seconds left, so in all likelihood, they'll milk down the clock and then potentially just run a play and hope for the best.
Tagovailoa from the shotgun, turns hands off. This is McDonald on the right side. Perry and Harrell on the stop again.
So they got it.
38 seconds.
Yeah, let's see if the game clock beats out the
It will.
play clock. Yeah. Curious if they even run a play here or not.
And Talia Tagovailoa is already over to the far sideline. He goes straight to Jim Harbaugh, and he'll shake his hand. Now, how about that? You like to see that.
Class act right there. He's shaking the hands of not only Harbaugh, but the coaches, and Harbaugh comes on and meets with some of the Maryland players. This must be special for him to win this game, go into Ohio State with 1 loss as the clock ticks to 0, and that'll be final 59-18.
And you look down on the field as Michigan celebrates. It's a job well done by both teams, job better done by the Wolverines on this brisk Saturday afternoon where the dawn has fallen on Capital One Field here at Maryland Stadium, with Michigan winning this one 59-18 over the Maryland Terrapins, spoiling their senior day and setting up a nice date at the table for Michigan and Ohio State next Saturday in Ann Arbor. And you mentioned this one being special. I think Jim Harbaugh, as he walked into the middle of that field to go shake the hand of Mike Loxley and Talia Tagovailoa, he may have some reminiscence of 2016 when both teams were ranked inside the top 5 and the Wolverines had a chance to win the Big Ten East on that brisk Saturday afternoon in Columbus in late November. He's finally got his chance back, and the Wolverines got a chance in Ann Arbor next Saturday to take down their arch rival.
Not only that, but also the CFP and the Big Ten title.
Yeah.
Michigan has yet to qualify for a college football playoff since its inception a couple years back. So with that, Michigan will advance to 10-1. Both Michigan and Ohio State 10-1 going into this final game. On the other hand, Maryland, they are 5-6, and they will go to Rutgers next weekend for a chance at a bowl game.
I mean, there's not much to talk about in this one except for Michigan. This was a dominating performance with the heres and theres of defensive susceptibility for about 5 to 8 minutes of that third quarter. However, let's talk final stats, Adam, before we get out of here and head home back to Ann Arbor and get ready for Ohio State. Cade McNamara was fantastic today. He did everything and extra. 21 of 28, 2 touchdown passes, should have had a third, but it wasn't just him. It was J.J. McCarthy as well. 5 of 5, 58 yards and a touchdown. Michigan on the ground, Hassan Haskins, 20 carries for 78 yards, 2 touchdowns. McCarthy also impressed with the legs with a rushing touchdown. But I'm going to give the key player of the game, I'll give the key to Donovan Edwards.
Yeah, I'd agree.
10 receptions, 170 yards, and of course a lot of it came on a 79-yard score in the third quarter, but he had that touchdown. On the ground, he was only 3 attempts, 8 yards, but if it was without Edwards through the air. He had 3 different third down conversions that propelled Michigan to this win.
Yeah, and that's what you want to see from a guy who will be the future of this offense.
Michigan also on the receiving end had Cornelius Johnson see all 4 of his receptions come in the first half. Not much action for him in the second. Dayton Baldwin had 4 catches for 31 yards. It was nice to see him be included again. Roman Wilson, 2 receptions, 25 yards. Luke Schoonmaker had 2 receptions for 11 yards and a touchdown. And I thought maybe we'd see more of Andrell Anthony today. 1 reception for 18 yards, but man, was it a good catch.
Yeah, and it came in clutch as well. Set up a first and goal as well.
Quickly from Maryland, Talia Tungavailoa, 19 of 33. Certainly could have been a little bit sharper. 1 touchdown and 1 interception that went back for 6, courtesy of DJ Turner. Tayon Fleet Davis, 11 carries, 71 yards. Colby McDonald, 18 carries, 68 yards. And the lone touchdown, or they had 2 touchdowns on the day. 1 coming by Tungavailoa's feet, the other one coming from Carlos Carrier through the air. But team stats, the Wolverines outgained Maryland 503 to 359. Passing the ball was superb. 352 passing yards and 178 for Maryland. So the passing offense for Michigan, it seemed, like we said, susceptible at times. But when you talk about who they're going to play next week, 178 doesn't look bad.
Yeah, it's a lot, as I said this earlier, a lot's going to depend on the weather, and it's a whole different ball game. Maryland is a completely different team from Ohio State, so it's tough to compare apples to apples on that one. But it is an interesting thing to keep an eye on.
We thought maybe, too, that we would see Michigan pound the rock quite a lot today. However, they were outgained by 30 yards on the ground, and a lot of it was thanks to Talia Tungavailoa for Maryland using his legs and scrambling. Michigan does have to be wary of that next week when it comes to C.J. Stroud, but like you said, throughout the week on the weekly DSRs through WCBN, you'll hear plenty of those as to the preview of Michigan and Ohio State. You'll hear it on my Tuesday Big Ten Power Rankings, which I'm back for. Finally, I'm healthy. But yes, thank you for covering for me for that.
I think I'll be joining you this week, too.
Well, it'll be fun. And, of course, I think we know who number 1 and number 2 is going to be.
I think we do as well, but don't want to spoil it. So
no,
tune in to 88.3 WCBN Ann Arbor at 6 p.m. on Tuesday.
And, of course, we have to take a quick look at the upcoming schedule. Michigan and Ohio State next Saturday. This is the big one. And tickets will be expensive. It will be a rocking place in Ann Arbor, and throughout the week, it'll be Thanksgiving week. Students will be going home, but I'm positive campus will be buzzing when it comes to Michigan and Ohio State this coming week. There's a basketball game on Tuesday, but on Wednesday, I believe, actually, and I don't think people really care about that one.
No.
It'll be about the one on Saturday at noon in the Big House.
No disrespect to anyone on Tarleton State and the men's basketball team, but people have their eyes set on one game and one game only in Ann Arbor. And I'm sure the national media will follow. I'm sure Game Day and Big Noon Saturday and Barstool and all of those people will flock to Michigan for that one.
For the listeners that we have right now, let's do a really quick preview of next week. What does Michigan have to do? What are the keys to finally knocking off Ohio State in Ann Arbor?
It's going to come to the secondary. It's going to be Dax Hill. It's going to be Gray. It's going to be just limiting what Ohio State could do in the air. We saw them today. I don't know what the final count was, but it was 5 or 6 passing touchdowns for Ohio State. And Michigan just won't stand a chance if they give up similar numbers.
And what about the turnover margin? Obviously, that's probably going to have to be super important for the Wolverines if they want to win.
Michigan, they haven't been great at forcing turnovers, but they also have been very disciplined. As we said earlier, they were the final Power 5 team to surrender a turnover this season, and that came in Week 5 against Washington. And even since then, they've been very disciplined. They had that critical one against Michigan State, but ever since then, it's been pretty locked down. And I think a lot of that goes to Cade McNamara. He is, for better or for worse, uber conservative with the ball. He doesn't risk it a lot with passing. He is very good at hanging on to fumbles and such. So the turnovers are going to be key, but I think that might actually favor Michigan.
And one last question about Michigan-Ohio State next week. You're looking at one player, and you have to uninclude the secondary now. Who's one player that's wearing maize and blue next week that has to have a standout game?
You know what? I'm going to say Hutchinson. He needs to keep the pressure on Maryland's quarterback and running backs, keep him in the pocket, keep him from scrambling with his feet, and make a case for why he should be in the Heisman conversation and why he should be drafted #1 by the NFL.
You know, I was going to go with Blake Corum because I'd love to see him come back next week and help out the Wolverines. However, it was lots of fun here from Maryland. Michigan saw a really good passing attack. Well, we saw a reversal of the field kickoff return for a touchdown that helped out the Wolverines in their 59-18 victory over Maryland here in College Park. And like I said, Adam, it was lots of fun. From Adam Bressler and Zach Linfield, next week, it's the big one.
Big one, and we'll be same crew in the booth.
Check us out on WCBN Sports Ann Arbor on YouTube. You can catch the game there, or we're live for the first time next week on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor.
In the greater Ann Arbor, Washtenaw County area, stretching from a bit outside Lansing to a bit outside Detroit, you could catch her signal. But also a special shout out to Eli Sherman for joining us in the booth. A WCBN alum, always make time for them.
We'll have 2 alums next week.
Yeah, we'll have 2 alums for the halftime show next week. But Eli provided an invaluable service with the spotting and the statistics and other help.
It's nothing but a free ticket.
Yeah. It's also great to have him in the booth, though, some company. But with that, from any closing remarks, Zach?
Well, with that, Michigan 59, Maryland 18. Next week, Michigan versus Ohio State in Ann Arbor at noon on 88.3
FM Ann Arbor.
88.3 FM Ann Arbor. My name's Zach Linfield alongside Adam Bressler. Good night and go blue.